The rain seems to be holding up just off of Main Street in Falmouth, just in time for Game 27 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season, which brings us back to Gov Fuller Field. Tonight, the Falmouth Commodores hosting the Orleans Firebirds, taking on the Birds for the first time in nearly a month. Alongside Ben Haller and Andrew Della Piana, I'm Ryan Martin, here to open the door. Ben, let's start with that 9-run loss at Brewster last night. It's a season-long 4th loss in a row now for the Commodores.
Yeah, 4-game lose streak. Like you said, it's the most. Also, the second, or tied for the worst loss they've had in run differential so far this season. It's just a time right now where I think the Commodores are missing a lot of their key pieces, but you start to wonder how much longer you can just use that as an excuse. At some point, you got to find production from somebody. They're still looking for those 1 or 2 guys to step up. I love the way Ryan Zuckerman's been playing, but other than that, they're just not getting much help, and the starting pitching's been a problem. That
starting pitching has certainly been an issue for the Commodores this season, Andrew. And Ben was just talking about new pieces needing to come in and contribute. We'll see if the now FIU Panther and Jeremy Urena can do that in his first appearance on Cape Cod tonight.
Yeah, he gets the ball. That already a Falmouth team that, as Ben mentioned, has struggled in pitching. This is the team with the worst ERA right now in Cape Cod, with a 4.82. So Urena trying to settle that down a little bit. He was really solid in his past season at URI. He'll be going down to South Beach next season at a 6-2 record, just north of a 5 ERA. A good strikeout to walk ratio, though, this past year for the Rams, who finally got in the NCAA tournament for the first time in a long time.
It's Urena for the Commodores. It'll be JT Rabb for the Firebirds, a matchup of 2 righties, Ben. And speaking of this Orleans team, it's been Falmouth who's been struggling as of recently, but Orleans has won 4 of its last 5.
It feels like everybody in the East Division is playing really well right now. Everybody in the West is struggling a little bit. And this is an Orleans team that, again, 2-0, the Commodores are against them, but both of those came in the first week of the season. Still, sometimes you see a team like that you know you can beat, you've beat a couple times, can give you some confidence. That's the only, really positive side of this. This is an Orleans team's playing really good baseball.
Especially Elijah Iquez, we'll have to watch out for him. He's going to be an all-star coming up this Saturday. It's Firebirds versus Commodores, Rabb versus Urena. First pitch coming up at 6 p.m. at Gov Fuller Field right after this.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
On their longest losing streak of the 2025 Cape Cod Baseball League season, the Falmouth Commodores look to get off the schneid with a team they haven't lost to yet. They're 2-0 against the Orleans Firebirds. The Firebirds make their second trip to Gov Fuller Field, playing some of their best baseball. Ben Haller alongside Andrew Della Piana. Ryan Martin is the third member of our crew. When he got to talk to somebody who had one of the only bright spots in yesterday's game, Byron Woodman, with a 1,000 on-base percentage after coming in replacement. And pretty cool story. The third member of our crew, Ryan Martin, has more. Ryan.
Thanks so much, Andrew. I'm now joined by Commodores bullpen catcher Byron Woodman. Also, a former Commodore, made his lone appearance yesterday for the Commodores at Brewster. Byron, what was that experience like going from bullpen catcher to being on the roster and getting in the game?
Yeah, really exciting. It's a good opportunity, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it.
That's awesome. So talk a little bit about the discussion. What was that like with Coach Saltamakia, maybe GM Paul Aries, about being a bullpen catcher and then hearing that your name was called for the roster?
Yeah, I was really excited about the opportunity when they first reached out, and then obviously when McCann signed with the Yankees, it's really got opportunity for myself to step up, and I'm glad I was able to take that opportunity yesterday.
Yeah, Byron, you've been here for a couple weeks before you get pulled up to the roster. How important was that to get acclimated to what Commodores baseball is like before you became a player?
Obviously, as a catcher, you have to see a bunch of arms, and learning new arms is a big thing. So I think the opportunity to see a bunch of the arms before seeing them in game was a big thing.
So, again, you're a catcher at Salve Regina down in Rhode Island. Being here in Falmouth, working with a lot of the Power 5 guys, different baseball players from other parts of the country, what's that been like just so far, both as a bullpen catcher and then making that debut?
Yeah, it's been a good adjustment. I think seeing a lot of different types of arms is a big thing and a lot of different levels. I pride myself with Salve, and I think it's a really accomplished program, so I think that step helped me a lot, and I hope to do more in the same in the future.
That's Byron Woodman, catcher from Salve Regina, Commodores player and bullpen catcher.
I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
Hi, I'm Coleman Mizell, outfielder from Alabama, and you're watching Commodores baseball on KTV.
Welcome back into the Gov, where the Falmouth Commodores get ready for game number 26 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season, taking on the Orleans Firebirds. This is a Falmouth team, Andrew, that just about a week ago was sitting tied for first place in the division Cape Cod Baseball League West. They are now tied for last with the Hyannis Harbor Hawks.
It has been a ugly, ugly week for the Commodores, starting back on Sunday in that game against Wareham, where you lose that 1-9, and the easy message was to kind of flip things around, flush it, forget about it. But then you come back last night and you have a game like you did against Brewster, where it just had to be a dumpster fire, really, allowing those 7 runs in the 5th inning that you just had to get out of.
Pretty sight, though. That number 3 in the white uniform, Mike Anu, is back for the Falmouth Commodores, is still leading the league in home runs. First pitch coming up in a little under 10 minutes, and our public address announcer, William Rosen, takes you the rest of the way with the pregame festivities.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Arnie Allen Diamond at Gov Fuller Field for tonight's Cape Cod Baseball League matchup featuring the visiting Orleans Firebirds and your Falmouth Commodores. Tonight's community sponsor is Cape Cod 5. Cape Cod 5 is proud to be a long-standing supporter of the Cape Cod Baseball League and its contribution to the local economy as a treasured summer attraction. Cape Cod 5 is a community bank serving customers throughout Cape Cod, the islands, and southeastern Massachusetts. Founded in 1855, the bank's mission is to enrich the lives of those it serves, while contributing to the health of its communities. Cape Cod 5 provides a full range of banking solutions, including personal and business banking, residential mortgages, investment management, and trust services. Cape Cod 5, a community bank committed to service. And now it's time to meet tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Orleans Firebirds. The manager of the Firebirds is Kelly Nicholson. Leading off, the second fielder from UC San Diego, number 48, Anthony Potestio. Batting second, the third baseman from Cal Poly, number 17, Alejandro Garza. Batting third, the shortstop from Hawaii, number 15, Elijah Iquez. Batting fourth, the left fielder from George Washington, number 33, Robbie Levy. Batting fifth, the first baseman from Charlotte, number 7, Dawson Bryce. Batting sixth, the designated hitter from UCLA, number 38, Kashul Duggar. Batting seventh, the catcher from Duke, number 3, Noah Uris. Batting eighth, the center fielder from Wake Forest, number 5, Javar Williams. And batting ninth, the right fielder from UC San Diego, number 28, Michael Crossland. The pitcher this evening for the Firebirds, a right-handed pitcher from Georgetown, number 12, JT Rab. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Falmouth Commodores. First up, the manager in his first season with Falmouth, World Series champion, Jared Sotolamacchia. Leading off, the third baseman from Cal Berkeley, number 8, Carl Schmidt. Batting second, the shortstop from the University of Southern California, number 18, Adrian Lopez. Batting third, the center fielder from the University of Arkansas, number 3, Micah New. Batting fourth, the designated hitter from Georgia Tech, number 10, Kent Schmidt. Batting fifth, the second baseman from Alabama, number 7, Justin Osterhaus. Batting sixth, the catcher from Texas A&M, number 27, Bear Harrison. Batting seventh, the first baseman from Georgia Tech, number 35, Ryan Zuckerman. Batting eighth, the left fielder from Florida, number 9, Ashton Wilson. And batting ninth, the right fielder from the University of Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. The pitcher this evening for your Falmouth Commodores, a right-handed pitcher from FIU, Jeremy Grina.
You can come out. I'm talking this. Here you go. Same as yesterday.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that if you're able to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America and those who protect our freedom with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight, singing is Ava Smith. A Falmouth native, Ava is a student at Norwich University where she studies psychology. She graduated from Falmouth High School in 2020 and upon attending college at a senior military institution, continued developing her passion for public speaking and affairs. Ava, whenever you're ready.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn early light. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ava Smith. And now it's time for tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Throwing out the first pitch tonight is Libby Sawyer from Cape Cod 5. Libby started with the bank in 2020 as an intern and is now a mortgage loan officer out of the Falmouth Banking Center. Born and raised on the Cape, Libby actually grew up playing softball and was even on the Sandwich High School varsity team. Welcome back to the mound, Libby, whenever you're ready. Let's see what you got. There you go, right over the middle. Thank you, Libby.
Thank you so much, William, for another great day of pregame festivities. It's a matchup that, again, it's looking like one of the lesser crowds we've seen so far this season, but that I think a lot is due to the weather. We didn't have official, formal batting practice for either team today, so both teams are just going to go at it, and both teams will send righties out there. Jeremy Urena for Falmouth making his first start for the Commodores, and JT Rapp for Orleans.
And for Urena, I'm excited to see how he kind of gets things going early, right? This was a team last night that really struggled to get out of the gates, especially in the back half of that start for Jaden Waiwoda, who, again, for those first two innings was pretty good. Had the 4 strikeouts, stranded runners in scoring positions in both of those innings. But that second, third time around, that's when the issues really started coming. And now to have a guy like Urena on the bump, the guy from Rhode Island who was really solid this past season for the Rams, it's going to have to be a really important start for him to set the tone.
Well, this is the lineup that JT Urena is going to go up against. Anthony Potestio and Alejandro Garza have been two of those consistent pieces, but there's a star hitting third at shortstop today for Orleans.
Elijah Iquez has been that guy for the Firebirds this past summer, and his numbers are off the chart, just about a top 10 in every single offensive category. For someone who came in a little bit later, he wasn't here for the first 4 games, with Hawaii wrapping up their season a little bit later, then taking that time to go across the country. He's from Hawaii, then to even get here on Cape Cod took a little bit longer than he expected, but he has been phenomenal, batting over 300, slugging nearly 500 as well. He has been the heart and soul of this lineup in that 3 spot.
No stats so far on the Cape, obviously, for Urena, but look what he did last spring with Rhode Island. The ERA sub-6 and 80 2/3 innings pitched. Look, this is not Major League Baseball. The 5.69 is still a pretty good ERA for a college starting pitcher, especially as an offensive-heavy league as the Atlanta 10.
And the thing, too, that maybe surprised me a little bit more when going through those numbers is he did get the start in that elimination game against Little Rock in that second game of the NCAA tournament in that regional. He got really rocked, no pun intended, by Little Rock. Just allowed over 8 hits, 8 earned runs in 3 innings of work against a Trojan team that seriously made some noise in that regional. So kind of a chance for him to really bounce back and get back on track here on Cape Cod.
Bit more of a muggy evening here at Falmouth. It's 80 degrees, feels like just a bit below at 78 degrees. We're going to stay in about the 70s all game long, but it is very windy. And Andrew, that wind is blowing out a little bit, kind of out to left center field. So some of those righties might have the advantage tonight in the batter's box. Maybe not the ideal night in terms of weather for Jeremy Urena or JT Rapp. But ready to get underway as Anthony Potestio from UC San Diego will step in to the left-handed batter's box. First pitch coming in at exactly 6 o'clock p.m. and it's a called strike on the inner part of the zone. 4-0-1 count. That 700 runs against Little Rock in the regional kind of skyrocketed the ERA for Urena on the year. It was sitting at 5.1 before then, getting all the way up to 5.7 after that Little Rock game. He had a tremendous appearance in the Atlantic 10 tournament. That was a big game against St. Louis where he went 6 2/3 and only gave up 2 runs. Potestio manning second base today for the Firebirds. He's early down to the count, now 1-2. Just sitting below 300 on the season, and he is somebody who is kind of that prototype leadoff hitter. A 914 OPS, 1 for 4 yesterday as they should have shut the gate. A little stoppage in the 1-2 count. Home plate umpire Jeffrey Rizal. Final plate again out there with Jim Finesco and Joe Gravina. Ready on lefty matchup to start this one off. Commodores have lost 4 straight coming into today. Firebirds have won 4 of their last 5. That one an awkward bounce at Ryan Zuckerman. He went up, but he can't handle it. Leadoff single for Anthony Potestio. Yes, that ball just kind of ate Zuckerman up. He got a bad read on it coming up. He's going to be playing first base after a couple of starts at third base today, but Carl Schmidt retakes his spot at the hot corner for Falmouth. And again, the new name, the thing that stands out to you back in center field is Mike Anu. Ball fouled back by Alejandro Garza after the infield single from Potestio. Garza, similar numbers to Potestio, hitting those top 2 spots. 286 batting average on the season. Slightly lower OPS with 701. One changeup went outside. Potestio, the Cal Poly infielder. He gets to see another teammate this upcoming season at Cal Poly in the Falmouth dugout. And Leif Palmer transferring over from Oregon State. Fastball high and tight. Maybe joining the Big West Conference.
And the big thing that Kelly Nicholson does, the head coach for the Firebirds, is he is a West Coast guy. Yeah. He teaches a high school out there. So bringing guys over to the East Coast has been no problem for him in over 20 years here.
Top 3 of the lineup's going to go UC San Diego, Cal Poly, and Hawaii. This one popped into shallow right. A sprint up for Antonio Morales. Mike Anu in his first game back makes out number 1. Now is that star Elijah Iquez. An OPS just over 936. He's doing everything this year for the Firebirds. Hitting for contact, hitting for power, playing defense, you name it. That's why he was named to the East Division All-Star team. Another one of those big West Conference guys at Hawaii. Still a runner on first base, now 1 out in the inning. Called strike on the outer corner to make it 0-1.
And I think the interesting thing, too, Ben, is that Iquez didn't blow away a lot of people at Hawaii this past season, batting just over 300 with just 21 RBIs. But the way he has come onto the scene this summer and again, I think we keep going back to that conversation of some guys adjust better to the wooden bats than some others, better than aluminum sometimes.
It works both ways. Carson Tinney was somebody that Commodore saw yesterday who's having a very rough summer for Brewster after being named a first-team All-American this past season, a catcher from Notre Dame going to Texas now. Despite that 3-run home run that broke it open a little bit in the 5th inning and a 12-3 loss for the Commodores. Runner takes off for second base. It's a breaking ball. Strike, good throw down, but late. And Anthony Potestio's got the first stolen base of the game.
And that's just a good read on that breaking ball where, of course, that's going to take a little bit longer to get to home plate. So why not utilize your speed a little bit if you're Potestio?
Arena throws a lot of them. He'll mix that fastball in, but still. Bear Harrison in his first game back behind the dish after starting 3 straight before Eddie Yaman got called up to Falmouth and got the start yesterday in Brewster. 0-2 outside in the dirt. Case yesterday didn't have a ton of opportunities at the plate. He was walked 3 times, did have 1 base hit, just a 1-for-2 afternoon. Slow grounder right at Osterhaus, but he'll make the play, get the runner over to third base. So second out of the inning for Urena, and 190 feet away for Orleans.
Good play by Osterhaus too. It kind of took a little bit of a weird carom too off the side of the mound, and that ball could have changed directions in a number of ways, but he was already shaded to the right just a little bit.
All is unpredictable on this infield grass. Orleans trying to get some first inning production. The Commodores have done well in first innings so far this year, but it's kind of that second and third innings defensively where teams are starting to get to them. First pitch change up in the dirt now to the lefty Robbie Levy. George Washington Colonial. Another guy hitting over 300 on the summer. And another one, Osterhaus, this time a little bit easier. Straight grounder to him. Makes the play for out number 3. Leadoff infield single for Anthony Potestio, but that's all Orleans can get on base. Nothing across. Heading to the bottom of the first. No score. Got our first look at JT Rabb on the other end of the break on Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Kinlan Grover Compass, Massachusetts State Lottery, Milton Cat, OT Sports, Quincy College, Reader's Hardware Supply, Southern Recognition, T-Mobile, Velo Sports, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
Falmouth Commodore offense has been cold in this 4-game losing streak, but they do get some help. And Mike Anu back in the lineup batting third today, and they will once again, for what seems like the 5th straight game, switch up the lineup just a little bit. That's what it looks like. Carl Schmidt moved to the 5 spot yesterday, back in the leadoff role.
How about Antonio Morales, too, back to the 9th spot? We haven't seen that since opening day at Chatham back on July 14th. So, again, when you're in a 4-game rut like this and, you know, if you only scored 10 runs in these last 4 games, something has to change, and that's what Jared Sultanamaki is going to do.
Well, JT Rabb, the man on the mound for Orleans, only has a couple of starts this summer, but they've been pretty good ones. He's only given up an earned run in his 2 starts. Total of 7 innings pitched, 1 4-inning start, 1 3-inning start. The All-Big East first-team member last year at Georgetown. Had a spectacular season for a struggling Hoyas team. And we'll face an ACC bat and Carl Schmidt, who's just been about everywhere in the lineup to lead things off.
Yeah, the Hoyas only had about 16 wins this past year. Rabb the winner in 4 of them.
It's 25% if my math serves correct. Schmidt 1 for 4 day yesterday. And his first pitch swinging Easy pop fly down the first base line, right at the first base bag. It's a play made by Dawson Bryce for out number 1. Adrian Lopez, ever since he's been back, has been hitting second game back now. So take a look what's going on behind Rab with this Orleans defense. See the top of the lineup for the Firebirds, all in the infield. Elijah Ikes talked about him offensively. He's enough to talk about defensively, too.
Even Robert Levy as well out in left field. Not a traditional outfielder. He spent most of his collegiate career in the infield, and it's a position he said before the summer he's never played before. And guess what? He'll be starting in the All-Star game there.
He's caught a little. He's listed as a catcher.
He is,
too.
yeah.
There's 3 by trade catchers in this Orleans lineup today. 1 DH, 1 catcher, obviously, and Juris behind the plate. And then in left field is Levy. Lopez gets started off with an 0-2 count. Batting average peaked down a little bit. It's been sitting at 280 before he left. Now down at 267. An 0-for-4 day in his first game back. Had a couple of strikeouts. And he's got a strikeout here. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. The first strikeout of the game for JT Rab, and 2 down early in this matchup. And how about this? Jared Saltalamacchia takes over at third base. It's been spotted Jack O'Reilly for pretty much the whole season. About halfway through yesterday's game, Bo McMillan took over after there was a kerfluffle a little bit at third base after a base running mistake from Osterhaus. Some say it was a late sign at third. Now it's manager Jared Saltalamacchia over at third base. Mike Anu with 2 outs and nobody on base in his first plate appearance. Back, swing and a miss. Well, he left top of the leaderboards in seemingly every category. When he came back, he's still top of the leaderboard in a lot of those, especially the 7 home runs on the season. He's got 18 RBIs to go with those 7 home runs, hitting .345. And Andrew, he missed 4 games. Commodores went 0-4 in those 4.
It's the guy you desperately needed back in this lineup. Not only offensively, Ben, as the numbers you just listed, but defensively as well. It's a transition for him at shortstop and Marshall this past year, but he's been unbelievable in the outfield as well.
Somebody who can really play, feels like all 7 positions behind the pitcher.
Absolutely.
In the infield and outfield, but he's down on strikes, chasing the pitch outside. So JT Rab brings the heat. He's got a couple of Ks in the first inning of this one, a quick 1-2-3. We're through 1. No score on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Veolia North America, Wilson Sporting Goods, Yawkey Foundation, Netting Pros, Falmouth Publishing Company, Butler Sporting Goods, Sportsfix, Margaritaville Resort Cape Cod, Sunderland Printing, Delmar Vacation Rentals, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm TJ Coates. I'm a right-handed pitcher from the University of Nebraska, and I'd love to give a special shout-out to my brother. Love you, big man.
Jeremy Urana did a nice job settling in after that leadoff single in the first inning. Retired the next 3 in order. Commodores trying to bounce back after that 9-run loss last night in Brewster. And the Whitecaps have been great in the 5th inning. They put up 7 runs in the 5th last night.
Yeah, the Nev outscored opponents 28-7 in that frame alone. And when you hit 3 home runs, it'll help your case a lot. And we even talked about Carson Tinney a little bit earlier. He goes deep on a 422 shot out to left field that I'm pretty sure still has not landed yet at Stony Brook Field.
I think it's going around there. It's like halfway down around.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And that was just a disastrous inning for the Commodores.
Dawson Bryce will lead things off, the righty for the Firebirds, manning first base today. The NEC Rookie of the Year back in 2024 when he spent his first season at Merrimack takes a strike on the outside corner. He was named to the NEC second team this past year. Or rather that first year, and then making that transfer over to Charlotte. Got 58 starts, homered 14 times. It's a Charlotte team that's got a solid baseball program, playing in the AAC, but kind of bowed out early in the AAC tournament. That's especially one where Bryce, who's one of the more reliable hitters for that 49ers team, only had one base hit the whole tournament. Change up way outside on the 0-2 count, make it 1-2.
And he cites that move from Merrimack to Charlotte because they're the team that wanted him most in the portal. There was a couple of open spots in the infield for the Niners, and he said also gave him the best chance to get drafted as well as he goes into his third season of collegiate baseball.
Stays alive in this at bat on the 1-2. Charlotte was in the NCAA tournament a couple of seasons ago. That's when he would have made the decision to go play for the 49ers. And obviously, if you want to call it a mid-major, one of the better mid-majors, definitely on the baseball side of the American. And someone. Change up, fell off. Ooh. That's not a fun spot for Bear Harrison to get hit. Jared Saltalamacchia and a trainer going to come out to check on him. See, he's still wincing in pain. That might be just one of those you gotta shake off.
Yeah.
This is where he got hit. I'll take a look at it again, make sure it wasn't anything more, but yeah. That's why the catcher wears a cup. Still good looked at by Saltalamacchia. They're gonna give some time for home plate umpire Jeff Purcell to get more balls. Already a righty warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. Not sure what the plan was today for the Commodores. It does look like it's Everett Garber. The first game that he is here in Falmouth, and the plan from the very beginning was for Urena to be an opener. So Garber might be the first guy out of the bullpen. Looks like he's going to be whenever they get to him.
Saltalamacchia and Harrison just sharing a smile there as well.
You think Jared Saltalamacchia's got
I think
a
he's
couple
been
of
in
those
that
his career?
situation a couple times. That's why he knows how funny it is with Harrison.
I don't think it's very funny for Bear right now.
It's
I'll
not.
laugh it off at some point.
Yes, absolutely will.
And it looks like he's making his way back behind home plate. So an early stoppage, only one base runner for either team today. This is still the first at-bat of the inning for Dawson Price. He's done a nice job fouling off a couple of pitches, and just a 1-2 count. Pitch number 6 of the AB is coming up. Hit .989 this past season at Charlotte. That OPS similar spot, 800 this year. These guys wanted to center, medium depth. Mike-a-doo. Crowd number 1. One gone. A lot of times with the openers, it's usually that, maybe 2-inning spot. A lot of times, coaches like to think of it maybe one time through the lineup when they like to make a change. So, just over halfway there now with retiring the 5-hitter Dawson Price.
Honestly, I think it really just kind of spans from what the Commodores' pitching struggles have been against that second time in the order where if you're a starter, you're probably just going to see that first and you're going to let the bullpen kind of chug along.
Cashel Duggar sees the ball go to the backstop. The UCLA catcher this past season had a very good year with the Bruins. Felt like everybody in that UCLA lineup was named as some sort of all Big Ten team. Duggar was no exception. Beautiful changeup on the inside corner from Urena. UCLA team that, of course, made the College World Series, went all the way to the semifinals.
First appearance in 12 years for the Bruins. Feels like everyone kind of took a step up, as you mentioned, in their play.
One ground to the back, and you see a decent amount of those guys here on the Cape as well.
Think about Dean West jumping right in with Katuit as well.
Still a 1-2 count. Urena is really yet to letting that back it away from Arima go down and a count. This one's evened up at 2-2. We talked about the top 3 of this Orleans lineup is all, kind of mid-major West Coast teams. This Power Conference West Coast team. Foul foul the 2-2 off down the third baseline. 1 for 5 yesterday with a strikeout. He's still trying to find his footing a little bit, just 227 so far on the summer, but the OPS is near 700 at 693. He's got a home run to go with 5 RBIs. 2-2 is low, and we have our first full count for Urena. 1 out, nobody on base after the fly out to center from Dawson Bryce. Leadoff single in the first, and Urena is retired. Next 4 in order. The payoff. That one hit hard down the first base line, but knocked down by Ryan Zuckerman. Had a tough play he couldn't make earlier. This time does make it just to the perfect position to quickly down to the second.
Feels pretty similar to the first ball he saw the leadoff man in Potestio, where he had to shift to his left just a little bit, and instead of kind of just fielding it originally, just more so knocks it down to get rid of that momentum and make that play a little bit easier on the pickup.
We read it a little better, too, at first. So, the Orleans catcher, Noah Juris, trying to avoid making this the first 1-2-3 inning for Urena. See if he can retire this. If they'll let him come back out for the third inning, I don't see why not. Jonas making the change from Virginia to Duke in this offseason. An ACC move. Speaking of Ryan Zuckerman, let's go and pick to Georgia Tech. Quickly down 0-2 again. He was very good at Duke last year. As one of their primary catchers, they had a bit of a two-man rotation. But he had over 300, had 7 home runs to go with it. Had a pretty good amount of power for the Blue Devils last year. Excuse me, for the Cavs last year, and heading to play for the Blue Devils this upcoming season. 0-2 pitch, nice snag, Urena. Make the easy flip for out number 3. So Urena has gotten a few ground ball outs at a 1-2-3 inning here in the second. He's retired 6 straight. Commodores come up in the second on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
There hasn't been a ton of training when it comes to bat speed or products for players to be able to train bat speed. You can improve your bat speed and reach your goals working 10 to 15 minutes a day on this a couple of times a week. It's a no-brainer for every player.
If you can dream it, if you can cruise in it, if you can summer in it, fish from it, or take it for a day at the beach, we can protect it. The Baldwin Group, protecting the possible.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Jeremy Urena almost facing the minimum, just 7 so far, and he made a perfect play on the mound to flip it over to first to end the second inning. And we'll take a look at the West Division standings right now as we have just about 13 games to go after tonight. Commodores and Harbor Hawks, it feels like they've been tied for the last 2 weeks. It feels like whatever happens, they have the same result. That used to be a first-place tie in the division. That is now a last-place tie in the division.
I swear about a week ago, if you took the bottom half of those standings, flipped it around, Wareham and Bourne was at the bottom, Falmouth and Hyannis was at the top, and then you take
it somewhere.
And now, a week later, that is the complete opposite, where Harbor Hawks have lost 5 straight, Commodores have lost 4 straight, Harbor Hawks have won, I should say, Wareham's won 6 straight to catapult into first.
Cape been playing really good baseball. They started that Falmouth, or actually with the second leg of the Falmouth losing streak back on Sunday. Another 12-3 Commodores loss. It'll be the middle third of the Falmouth lineup, 4-5-6. Kent Schmidt to start things off in the home half of the second as JT Rabb makes his way to the mound. for his second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Kent Schmidt. About the batting average of Adrian Lopez going down from 280 to 260. It's doing a similar thing with Kent Schmidt. He did go 1 for 3 yesterday. He's got a 711 OPS on the year. Leaves that fastball alone. Longest Rab is gone, and either of his starts this season is just 4 innings. He has another 3-inning start as well. But if he works as efficiently as he did in that first inning, he only threw 8 pitches in the first. Kent Schmidt's even at 2.
Just that 3-pitch strikeout to Lopez, then 4 to New, and then get Carl Schmidt in the first. He's usually that aggressive hitter at the top of the lineup.
Well, I mean, that's what Rab did at Georgetown, too. Change up in the dirt for ball 3. We've run full for the first time with Rab on the mound. Rab had, count it, 4 starts this season where he reached triple-digit pitches. Did one at UConn where the Huskies ended up winning the Big East. Regular season, 6 innings of 1-run appearance against UConn. Had 115 pitches thrown at Xavier, only gave up 1 earned run on 6 2/3. 106 versus Seton Hall. Schmidt pops 1 foul. It'll stay full.
I don't know if they'll allow him to throw that many tonight. So.
Yeah, I think it's frowned upon to maybe a little bit. You think the college head coaches,
of course,
not going to love seeing 100 pitches thrown on the Cape, but. And that's going to be a pitch clock violation, some sort of engagement violation, whatever you want to call it, on JT Rab. He got a warning just before the full count foul ball. And for the second time, Rab never engaged Ken Schmidt. He'll jog on down to first base and go weird way for the Commodores to get their first base runner.
And you're only seeing that usually, that disengagement warning from the umpire once in at bat, but you receive that second one, it's an automatic ball, and it turned out to be ball 4 there.
Well, it's something we haven't seen a whole lot. Umpires really give much attention to the last couple of years. But it must have been an emphasis for the umpires this season. Offers a fastball outside now to Osterhaus, 1-0. And a conversation between Juris and Rab.
And Rab immediately called over Juris after that ball was up.
Maybe a conversation about signaling, anything like that. Quickly back behind the plate. Now Osterhaus, who was 1 for 3 yesterday. Did have one of the 3 RBIs for the Commodores, though. Nice ball, called strike on the outer part of the plate. He was moved up to the cleanup spot and actually got Commodores their first run of the game. They took a lead in the top of the first inning in Brewster with an RBI infield single for Osterhaus this past game. Now he's ahead of the count 2-1.
It's hard to believe the Commodores led at any point in that game last night for how ugly that one got.
So Rab has already thrown more pitches in this second inning than he did in the first. Two fouled back. 2-1 fouled back, rather. Make it 2-2 now. For the new Alabama Crimson Tide. Call him a utility man. Plays most positions on the infield, but also got moved to the right field. And a defensive change last night. Nice ball upstairs. We've run full once again. Could have to make a bit of a further trek. Grand Rapids, Michigan to Fort Wayne's, a little bit closer than Grand Rapids, Michigan to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Payoff pitch hit into center, but just hanging up enough. Javar Williams runs under it for the first out. And Kent Schmidt stays put at first base.
And that's a little bit of the unluckiness that the Commodores have suffered during this losing streak, where you put good wood on the baseball, but sometimes it's just been right at someone.
So the first out of this inning is recorded on that fly out to center. Still a runner on first base now for Bear Harrison, who you're going to see a lot down the stretch for the Commodores. He's gotten 3 starts in the last 4 games, didn't start yesterday. That ball hits off the ground and off the home plate umpire Jeff Brazell. Ken Schmidt jogs on down to second base, now in scoring position. It's going to go down as a wild pitch for sure. That was bounced before the plate. A little bit of a smile for Ken Schmidt as he gets on down to second base. I'll tell you what, anytime he advances a base for any particular reason, there's always a smile on his face.
He only steals a couple times, too, and he usually goes when there's runners at the corners, too, so that second one is a little bit more of a freebie there. He'll stuff the stat sheet any way he can, though.
1-0 fastball up and out, make it 2-0. 2:28 on the summer for Harrison. And it's been a tad better in that 3-game stretch where he got 3 straight starts. He was sitting around just about 200 for the majority of the first couple of weeks of the year. Another one hit into center, but Williams got another beat on it. Back-to-back hard flyouts for Commodore hitters right in the glove of Javar Williams. Now 2 gone in the second.
The first baseman, Georgia Tech, number 35, Ryan Zuckerman.
Commodores have had a roller coaster of a season when it comes to hitting with runners in scoring position, trying to avoid going 0 for 2 in this inning, stranding their first runner. Firebirds have stranded one themselves as well. But Ryan Zuckerman's played pretty well in his first few games as a Commodore. He's hitting .292 on the year now. It's a change-up first pitch. It's going to be the third baseman, Garza, who takes it and throws across the diamond, out number 3. Commodores strand one on second. Ken Schmidt reaches on a leadoff walk, but a couple of flyouts set a ground out. That's how the second inning ends. Through 2, no score on Cape League TV.
One source has it all. The pros' go-to rental choice for the newest and most reliable equipment for any job. One source that has a team you can rely on, the people and a name you trust, with the tools you need. One source with a location near you and wherever the work takes you. Milton Rents, the right equipment when and where you need it.
Hi, I'm Mike Newton from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my boy T.
This summer, kids ages 5 to 18 can sign up for the Falmouth Commodores Youth Development Clinics. Live a day in the life of a Commodore and train with the top college players here at Gov Fuller Field. Register today on our website at capecodleague.com/Falmouth. That's capecodleague.com/Falmouth. We've reached the top of the third inning. Not much going on the base paths offensively for Falmouth today. As fans starting to file in, weather's getting much better than it was maybe a few hours ago here in Falmouth, Massachusetts. And it is Jeremy Urena making his way back to the mound for his third inning of work. It was said that he was going to be used more of an opener, but they'd love to see him go. It's still Garber, the righty, warming up down the first base line in the Commodore bullpen. We'll get his first look at the 8-hitter. And Javar Williams sends one right into the glove of Justin Osterhaus, who makes the play. Already Osterhaus' third putout of this game. Both teams have had one man reach. It was a leadoff single in the first for Anthony Potestio, and then leadoff walk in the second for Kent Schmidt. Now the 9-hitter Michael Crossland stands in with one out, nobody on. Change up right down Broadway. Rising junior from Seattle, Washington. Another UC San Diego guy. He's named to the All Big West first team last year. Change up above the letters for ball one. Top 3 in the conference in OPS this past season. He led it in home runs. The numbers jump off the page. 1079 OPS, 15 home runs with 44 RBIs. Fastball hits hard down the third base line. And a one-out single. It's up and left by Wilson. It's 85 miles an hour off the bat. And just nobody home. Potentially for a line out of the infield for Falmouth. So it looks like they're going to let Urena face Potestio for the second time. Singled and also got a stolen base his first time up. Wrap around the lineup with a couple of UC San Diego guys. Another righty on lefty matchup. Urena starts with throw over to first. Andrew, you and I were talking about it earlier. These Firebird uniforms, they're unique.
Sweet.
Some people love them, some people hate them. I think we're both in the love them category.
Nice little red camouflage with the script Firebirds across the front.
It's just enough. Like, it's just not too much. You know, you see, you add maybe a little more fire to it, a little more taste, and it gets kind of like AAU basketball jersey-ish.
Very true.
But I think this is just enough. Potestio's got a 1-1 count. Garber's starting to cool down a little bit in that first base dugout. He takes a seat, first base bullpen rather. He takes a seat. This one chopped, fouled on the third base line. Awkward contact off the bat. Firebirds also have those sleeveless uniforms for home games as well in white. Urena this past season at Rhode Island was used in a starter role a decent amount, kind of like JT Rabb. He had a lot of games where he threw a decent amount of pitches, but never quite in that 100 level. And Andrew, what if I told you that Jeremy Urena never pitched, never threw 100 pitches in a game, but he had a complete game against George Washington. He completed 9 innings of baseball in 92 pitches. Rudder takes off, swing and a miss, throw down to second on line in time. Strike him out, throw him out. Bear Harrison gets the Commodores out of the top of the third inning. Beautiful play defensively, and Jeremy Urena completes 3. Head to the bottom of the third. Still no score in Falmouth.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we know there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. Now that's how we all win. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
Hi, I'm Justin Osterhaus from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents and my brother, Becky and JD Osterhaus and Brady Osterhaus.
It's now time for some Doors trivia, and of course we reached the bottom of the third. As we take a look at another strike him out, throw him out, a beautiful throw for Bear Harrison. Jeremy Urena and Bear Harrison, their first time working together today. Here is that trivia question. Since 2010, what's the lowest number of wins a division winner has had in the CCBL? That's an interesting one. What's the lowest number of wins a division winner? Man,
That's
17 feels impossible.
Out of 40 games, well, it used to be, they're in still one of the early years where they changed it to a 40-game schedule. So most of that is still based on 44.
I'm going to say a perfect, no, I'm going to say 20.
I was going to go that way too. Yeah.
You can have the same answer as me. It's okay.
I'm not going to debate you on it.
Out of the third inning, 8-9-1. Ashton Wilson leads things off. JT Rabb makes his way back out to the mound. The first pitch is low to the Florida Gator.
Because you could still have ties in the mix as well, and
yeah,
only be like a game or two below 500.
Wilson skies the 1-0 down the first base line. A long, awkward chase for Dawson Price. Couldn't find it, and then will find it, but out of play to even the count up at 1-1. Wilson at 0 for 3 day yesterday, but it did score a run after reaching on a fielder's choice. His batting average is at its lowest point this year, 226. We're sitting around 250 for much of the first week here in Falmouth for him. Pumped the fastball by him, down 1-2. Rabb named to the All Big East first team this past season. And that's a Big East first team award that is only awarded to 4 different starting pitchers. It's one of the biggest differences you'll see from conference to conference. How many starting pitchers they put on the all-conference team. Every other position, it's just kind of one at each position. But the Big East, not granted, they only have 8 teams, so it adjusts a little bit for that. But just 4 starting pitchers on it. You think that's too many? Just right? One hit down the left field line, tailing foul, and will end up foul. As much as Jared Saltalamacchia tries to make it go fair by pointing.
That number feels right. I mean, you look at the talent that has come through the Big East, especially on Cape Cod this season. You're thinking about a guy like John LeGrande, who's a St. John's guy. He's also part of that first team list for the Big East this year over in Bourne.
Change up off the plate. Ashton Wilson sees an even 2-2 count. Yeah, I think it's a solid number. But we talked about it. Georgetown's team that really struggled. One of 2 guys on the first team from the Hoyas. Also catcher Owen Carapalotti.
There's rumors that the Big East Player of the Year and Ryan Daniels from UConn might have been down here for this summer.
Actually, a stoppage by Jeff Merzel behind the plate, but going to step back in for the 2-2 count to Wilson. Still leading off this bottom of the third inning. Scoreless game. Fastball. Wilson gives it a ride into center. Javar Williams going back. He's looking up. It's carrying and just in front of the wall. Javar Williams makes the play. I think everyone was caught off guard by how much that carried, but I think Javar Williams maybe the most.
And he's seen about every angle right now out there in center field. He's seen the line driver, you know, your routine more so fly ball, and that one, as you mentioned, just kept carrying and carrying at the dead center.
So the first time in a very long time in the 9-hole for Antonio Morales, to be specific and exact, since July 14th, where he hit 9th against Chatham and opening day. Old strike on the outer corner. We talked about how he hasn't been that first half of the season, Antonio Morales, in the last few games or so. His OPS is down to 680, batting average down to 264. He's known as a contact guy. He's had a 300 for much of the year. Nice ball up, but everybody's going to go through those high points, low points.
He's been putting the ball in the air a whole lot more as of late. I think he just has to get back to his game where he's keeping the ball low in the infield and beating out some infield singles.
Maybe searching for a little bit of power. He still has not homered yet this year. He's got only 5 RBIs, but used for much of the season as a leadoff guy.
Including one last night.
Yep. Check swing on a pitch low. They say he wins, so he's down 1-2. Changeup ends up above the head of Morales. Carl Schmidt on deck, who's been the leadoff man. Seems like those two have kind of traded positions in the 1-2 for most of the year before moving Lopez up to the 2 spot now. Another fly ball, this time left center. Williams an awkward route again, but ends up making the late adjustment Seen a couple of fly balls for the first 2 outs of the 1 and 2 hitters.
It's already his 4th putout in the last 5 batters.
He's got 4. Justin Osterhaus has 3 for the Commodores at second base today. But one time through the lineup, JT Rabb has recorded 2 2/3 innings. Hasn't given up a base hit yet, just a walk to Ken Schmidt. Now Carl Schmidt's second time up starts off with an 0-1 count. His first pitch swinging at the very beginning of the bottom of the first inning, and he popped to first. That ball spiked from Rabb. JT Rabb is one of the older players on the Cape. He's listed as a graduate student. Spent a decent amount of years at Stony Brook. Didn't see any action in his freshman season. That was all the way back in 2022. And then 23 had 16 appearances, but mostly as a reliever. Only got 2 starts. Actually used as the closer a couple of times. Got a couple of saves. Two-1 fastball fired in the dirt again. It's a 3-1 hitters count for Morales. And then 2024 was really when he came into his own his last season at Stony Brook before transferring to Georgetown. 4.5 ERA and 71 1/3 innings of action. Now Schmidt deep into center, back at the track. Javar Williams got all 3 outs of this bottom of the 3rd inning. Commodores keep hitting it to the deepest part of the park. It doesn't pay off. 3 up, 3 down, and 6 straight retired for JT Rabb. Third of the way through, no score on Cape League TV.
At Cape Cod Healthcare, we're committed to excellence and compassion in everything we do, like helping people maintain their active lifestyles. Our innovative orthopedic program combines advanced techniques and leading-edge technology with highly specialized teams, including our nationally recognized Center of Excellence for Joint Replacement. Our focus is getting you back to doing the things you love, in the place you love.
The Center of Excellence and the quality of care that we can deliver makes all the difference to the patients. They understand that they can get the best care right here on Cape Cod.
You can make any bat feel lighter by adding a velo puck knob. Instead of having to go get a whole entirely new bat, you can simply add the puck to it. Players can use this with any bat. It's basically going to shift the weight of the bat a little bit more towards the hands. Players are able to hit the ball a lot harder just by simply adding the puck on.
Hi, I'm Jake.
Here to Gov Fuller Field as the Falmouth Commodores scoreless through 3 with the Orleans Firebirds. Ben Heller along ADP. Of course, a nickname for Andrew, but nicknames for Firebirds is a pretty good one. Ryan Martin, the 3rd member of our crew, has more. Hopefully have more, not to be a spoiler, but Peanut Garza is the 2-hitter today for the Orleans Firebirds. Alejandro will lead things off in this 3rd inning. And you see a new pitcher. We talked about how it was just going to be be an opener on the day. And the start for Jeremy Urena, but Everett Garber, the rising sophomore out of Bucknell, will see his first appearance as a Falmouth Commodore, and he comes into the 4th.
And an interesting freshman season with the Bison, where 7 starts on the mound, became more of a weekend starter a little bit later in the season. But I think the big thing that stands out about him, Ben, is hitters hit over 320 against him this season.
Bucknell playing their baseball in the Patriot League this past season. He fires a first pitch strike on the outside corner to Garza. And yeah, it's one of those things where I think he just got thrown into the fire maybe a little early as a weekend starter. It happened later in the year, but still your freshman season to get that kind of workload can be very tough. Garza set right to Adrian Lopez for out number 1, first action Lopez has had today. It was a strike him out, throw him out, and the end of the top of the 3rd inning after Michael Crossland, the UC San Diego right fielder trying to take second base. Anthony Potestio, the UC San Diego second baseman, struck out. Beautiful throw down to second by Bear Harrison. One down quickly in the top of the fourth inning now.
And also closes the book on Urena in his first start on Cape Cod. He was really solid through 3 innings, just allowing those 2 hits in the 1 strikeout. No real major damage he had to face either.
The 2 hits are from the 1-9 hitters that we both talked about, Potestio and Crossland. Now it's the 3-hitter Elijah Ikes, who grounded out to second in his first inning. Now he's going to hit one hard into left field, and it'll drop in for a base hit. Elijah Ikes keeps hitting. He's got himself a 1-out single, the third base hit of the day for the Firebirds, and the first one on Garber. Now Robbie Levy, the 3-11, hitting George Washington lefty. Firebirds have only had a runner in scoring position just once today after Potestio stole a base after his single. They stranded him there. It's their 3rd time with a runner on base at all. Now tipped into the mitt of Harrison for strike 1 from the left fielder Levy. George Washington, Colonial this past season. He also grounded out to second his first time up.
Used to be the Colonials.
They changed it?
Yeah.
Oh, they did. Don't tell me. Don't spoil it. Don't tell me. This was this offseason change, wasn't it?
Correct.
It's something similar. It's like the Revolutionaries
there
or something like that. No, nailed it. We're over to first. Ikes does have a good bit of speed, and he is way off of first base. If Harrison wanted to back pick at first, but I don't think quite saw it.
I mean, Levy's played for some tremendous team names. Yes. Revolutionaries, Firebirds.
Wonder if George Washington has as great jerseys as this Orleans team does. I don't know if I've seen him. This one popped down the third base line. Courtesy chase for Carl Schmidt over at third base, but it's out of play.
Well, his story is cool because George Washington was the only school to offer him Division I, that is, out of high school. And he had the chance to think about putting his name in the portal this past season, but he said he felt so true to the program and giving him that shot to play at that D1 level that he couldn't leave.
Well, it's a A-10 conference again. We talked about with Jeremy Urena, where it's just a hitter-dominant league. Swing and a miss, though. He's down on strikes. That's the first strikeout of the Falmouth Commodore uniform for Everett Garber. Strikeout, the second for the Commodores. Your Firebirds did not go down on strikes once the first time through the lineup, but now the leadoff hitter Potestio and now Levy both down on strikes. Second time through, 2 down and runner on first base now for the 5-hitter Dawson Price. First pitch lifts one into right. Antonio Morales for out number 3. So another inning where Orleans gets one on but can't get them across. Everett Garber, a pretty good first inning as a Commodore, heading to the bottom of the 4th. No score on Cape League TV.
Get ready for big results with our small machines. With more power, performance, comfort, and savings. They're ready for every job. And we're ready with plenty of inventory, the best support in the business, same-day parts availability, and locations across the Northeast. So you can always be ready to work. Milton Cat, always ready.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
I'm Trevor Baumler, right-handed pitcher from TCU, and you're watching Commodores Baseball on Cape League TV.
JT Rapp still on the mound for the Orleans Firebirds. The Commodores look to put up some runs. And here is the trivia answer question. Andrew and I were both wrong. I guess it's like the blind leading the blind here in these trivia questions, as you, of course, try to piggyback off my answer once again. The answer is actually B, 19, one less than 20, which is just crazy. It happened back in 2022. Both the Brewster Whitecaps and the Whitey Red Sox tied for first place with a 19, 17, and 8 record. It was back when the game was still 44, or the season was still 44 games. They both tied 8 times.
That makes sense. They both don't have lights, but still.
Yeah, there were still 2 games over 500 as Adrian Lopez, awkward check swing on the first pitch. And Andrew, that's a fitting trivia question. You know why it reigns true right now?
Why?
Because as of today, no team is on pace to finish with more than 20 wins in the West Division. One pitch outside again, hits off the foot of Orleans catcher Noah Journas.
That's what the East Division just laughing at these teams right now.
Well, it's funny because, you know, at one point if you're an East Division team, you're like, man, I mean, this is just so unfortunate. But if you look at last year, it was the exact opposite.
Correct.
Big swing and a miss for Adrian Lopez. Everyone knows the Commodores missed the playoffs. They were in last place of the West Division with a 16-23-1 record. It was actually the Harwich Mariners who won it all, had a worse regular season record than the Commodores last season. They were straight 16-24. And they weren't even the 4 seed, they were the 3 seed in the division.
Orleans was a game worse, and they made it in.
And Brewster Whitecaps were the worst team in the league past season, 13-25-2. We know how the tables have turned. Here, now sitting at second place. Not only in the league, or not only in the East Division, but also in the whole league. Adrian Lopez, an even 2-2 count, fastball, thrown into the dirt. Lopez struck out swinging his first time up. That's one of just 2 that Rab has today. It was on back-to-back at-bats to 2 of the Commodores coming back, and Lopez and new. Comes home with a 2-2 and a hard grounder right at Peanut Garza. Make it easy throw for out number 1. Second opportunity for Micah New today as the Firebirds record the first out. Commodores have got the leadoff runner just once the first 4 tries of this ball game. And it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. We've seen a lot of high-scoring games recently for the Commodores. Still get those really low-scoring pitchers duels in there. It feels like we haven't had anything in between in the last couple of weeks. First pitch, cold strike, just at the knees for Mike Anu. Also struck out his first time up. Hasn't struck out a ton this season, of course, aided by missing the last 4 games.
And that last true pitchers duel I feel like we've seen was that July 4th game with Katuitt, where Commodores only won that one 3-1. And that was on the night prior where Katuitt won that one 3-2 in a walk-off.
Yeah. Both home teams getting the win in those respective matchups. 1-1 count for New when he fouls one off to the right side. He missed the last 4 games, not for injury, but to go back home for the Major League Baseball draft. See if his name would get called. Someone who has bought himself a ton of stock in the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks of Summer League Baseball. Making the change from Marshall to Arkansas. Did not hear his name called, though. Change up in on him. Even 2-2. .345 batting average so far this year. That's the most impressive thing. And he ropes one foul down the third base line, just over the head of some fans down the third base grass. But that's just the impressive thing, is obviously everyone knows the power numbers. Leading the league with 7 home runs, but still hitting for average too at .345.
That's where I think his game has elevated even more. I mean, even just this past season at Marshall, you know, hitting .285 with 14 homers is nothing to slouch at, but still having that extra element of your game for the MLB scouts to take a look at, and of course he'll be in the same spot next year after hopefully another credible season, but this time in Arkansas in the SEC, where he can maybe even, I'd say, go in the top 5 rounds.
He's early on a couple of pitches. Now fouls another one off and putting together a pretty good at-bat with one out and nobody on. And it was a 3-hole while he was absent where it was really Ken Schmidt filling in for him. His first time hitting third also since earlier this year. He hit third on opening day, but since then hasn't really done it much before this week. He lifts one into right. Crossland going back at the front of the track and haul it in for out number one. Crossland was pretty far up, but able to make the adjustment for the second half.
Mike Anu is not someone that hits the ball a whole lot to right, so Crossland was playing in a little bit more shallow. And almost kind of caught him by surprise. The ball was hitting his direction.
Two gone, nobody on base for Ken Schmidt. The only Falmouth Commodore still to this point to reach today. Leadoff walk back in the second inning. A spot where he may be a little more comfortable in. And the cleanup spot, big RBI guy, called strike right down the middle. He's got 13 of them. That is second on this Falmouth Commodore team behind Mike Anu. JT Rabb is quietly putting together a really nice appearance. He's only thrown 56 pitches, so you can see him even come back after this fourth inning. One more out to record would be his longest, tied for his longest appearance in just 3 starts on the Cape this summer.
Getting halfway to that 100 mark. Still
a
lot of work to go.
Did that 4 times at Georgetown, and again, not sure we're going to see that today. 1-1 breaking pitch right down the middle of the zone. He's got Schmidt down 1-2. Well, the interesting thing, back at Georgetown, had a lot of strikeouts. Total of 77 this past season to just 35 walks and 74 1/3 innings pitched. But only the 2 strikeouts so far today. Schmidt barely able to stay alive. But it was against 2 of Falmouth's better hitters in Lopez and New. Commodores have liked seeing the Firebirds play this year. That was really the first game for the Commodores in that first week where the offense started to click, obviously, in the 14-5 win back at Eldridge Park. Just the 4th game of the season. Came back home, another nice offensive performance. Schmidt fouls the 1-2 off, punches it down the third baseline again.
And that was after that shutout 2 against Harwich, where the problems in the early going were runners in scoring position. They come back that next night.
They had just 4 total runs in the first 3 games. 1 against Chatham, 3 against Brewster. They were shut out against Orleans. Must have threw with 14. And half of that, or later that week when they played Orleans again, they scored 7 in a 7-3 win.
That was a 5 RBI game for Bear Harrison, too, with 2 home runs. Hasn't homered since.
Mike Anu got his first home run. That's where he started to shine a little bit.
I'd say that's more of also a hitter-friendly ballpark with the short out to right and left and over 430 to dead center.
Commodores will be there in just over a week. They will pay their last visit to Eldridge Park next Sunday. Called strike 3 on the outer quarter. The third punch out for JT Rabb. He is cruising through 4, still just 1 base runner for Falmouth in the first 4 innings. But no score between Commodores and Firebirds was ahead of the 5th inning on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Cape Cod 5 is proud to be the official banking partner of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Cape Cod 5 offers a broad range of financial products and services tailored for every stage in your financial journey. Reach out to us. We're here to help.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: Cape Space, Cape Cod 5, Cisco Brewers, Cape Cod Healthcare, Hampton Inn, Franklin Sports, Highline Cruises, Jersey Mike's, and of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
Hi, I'm Jackson Manesco from Ocean City, New Jersey, and I want to give a
quick shout out to my mom.
Reached the 5th inning from Gov Fuller Field as the sun still shining through at the Gov. It's been a very cloudy day for most of the day, but we've caught a pretty good pocket here at 6 o'clock p.m. in a game that's cruising along pretty fast. 7:04 for inning number 5 to start, and Everett Garber makes his mound back to the mound. Second inning of work was a quick 1-2-3, a ground out, a fly out, and a strikeout. Check that he gave out the one single to Ikes. Still the ground out, strikeout, fly out. Now the 6-hitter Cashel Duggar to lead things off, but he's first pitch swinging right to Micah New. We have seen a lot of one pitch at bats on both sides today. We've also seen a lot of fly balls to center. That's now the third that Micah New has had to make today. Total of 9. As we all know that Javar Williams is making a lot too. He has made 5. Bottom third of the lineup for Noah Juris. First pitch fouling one off, making the change from Davidson over to Duke. Staying in the Carolinas. It's this Duke team under new management this upcoming season. This time a 2-pitch at bat, pop into shallow right field, and Justin Osterhaus has it. Orleans is attacking these Falmouth pitchers early, but it's not quite paying off.
And I think, too, we give a lot of credit to these pitchers as well, really nailing their spots where there hasn't been a whole lot of middle misses or inner third middle, or misses, I should say, and then they're really keeping the ball outside a whole lot tonight.
Still no score. Top 5, 2 gone for Javar Williams. He's got a lot on his plate defensively today. Called strike at the knees, and he's one of the better center fielders defensively in the league. But just 0 for 1 on a ground out to second his first time up. That led off the 3rd inning. Still hitting below the Mendoza line at 182 as he watches a pitch go inside. Shinobi has a 507. Hasn't had many opportunities down in the lineup with runners at scoring position. He's just got the 1 RBI. No homers for him. Check swing, outer part of the plate. No appeal, and also looked like a pretty good pitch, but Roselle thinks otherwise. Against the Wake Forest Demon Deacon. 51 starts this past season. Played pretty well in the regional, too. A couple of multi-hit games. This is inside again. And the Knoxville regional, after a decent amount of playing time his freshman year, he got 30 starts, but struggled mightily on the offensive side of things. In that freshman year, only 25 hits in his 30 starts. How about the improvement from freshman to sophomore year as he works a 5-pitch walk? 271 batting average this past year in Winston-Salem. And he's on for the first time today. It's to the 9-hitter, Michael Crossland. Williams has pretty good speed, too. Stole 16 bases last year for the Deeks. That's why there's going to be a throw over to first before Crossland sees the first pitch. Harbor still just needs the 1 out to get out of this top of the 5th. Firebirds actually have put runners on in 4 of 5 innings so far now as Garber misses outside.
And the only one to get to second was Potestio back in the first after that stolen base. Everyone's been held to just that first base spot so far.
Crossland 1 for 1, but he was caught stealing second. Speaking of steals, Williams thought about it, faked it, stopped halfway, goes back to first base. Pitch was outside to make it 1-1. Crossland, not much of a base stealer either, was a everyday starter for UC San Diego that past season. He was on base 44% of the time, but he only had 6 stolen bases. Now Williams will take off, and Harrison a bit ahead of himself. One gets behind him. Williams thought about a hard turn to third base. He'll go back to second. I'll go as stolen base.
He took off before that pitch anyways, even getting by Harrison.
So just the second time today the Firebirds have put a runner in scoring position. Crossland, just 5 RBIs on the year. No home runs. Also ahead of this count, 2-1. This ball way outside. Now he's got the 3-1. Barber spending this past year at Bucknell, a team who didn't do so hot in the Patriot League. They were 10-15 in conference play and an 18-27 overall record. They really kind of fumbled towards the end of the year. Change up, outside for ball 4. Back-to-back walks after 2 quick outs on just 3 pitches to lead this 5th inning up. Andrew, some Commodores fans started to see it, though. This is a Commodores team that has really struggled on the mound with 2 outs. And that is going to be a mound meeting for Todd Carroll.
I think he's thinking the exact same thing we were about the struggles with 2 outs. It even happened last night in Brewster.
Well, there's really nothing going on in the Falmouth bullpen right now. I don't know if you call it a bullpen game or it was an opening for Jeremy Urena. So I guess the designation of a bullpen game depends on how long they were planning for Everett Carver to go in his first game here on Cape Cod. Really, I think his first day here on Cape Cod.
He got here this morning.
But he now has to face the top of this lineup. For Anthony Potestio. First batter he faced was Garza in the 4th. So Potestio saw Urena twice. 1 successful at bat, 1 not so much, a strikeout and a single. But runners on first and second, the first real opportunity.
Also like to see that words of encouragement from Adrian Lopez and Carl Schmidt in that huddle as well. Guy on his first day, nerves still might pee there a little bit here on Cape Cod. It's a huge stage.
Trying to get him to attack the batter after back-to-back walks. You mentioned the poor batting average against for him at Bucknell. A lot of it came early in the year in his first few starts as a freshman. Cold strike on the outer part to make it 0-1 on Potestio. Stolen base after that single in the first inning. The Firebirds now do have 3 hits and the 2 walks. They put 5 on base in the first 5 innings. That one grounded right at Justin Osterhaus. Awkward hop at the end, but still gets it over to first in time. First time either team has stranded a pair, and it is the Firebirds. So we're halfway through this game, still no runs. Commodores still need a hit in Game 27 of the Cape League season.
There's a 0 chance that you'll want to miss our 0% for 72 months offer. For a limited time, CAD is offering 0% on the purchase of many new small excavators. That's 0% for better performance, 0% for next generation features.
Great machine. It's quite impressive.
0% for work tools too. But there's a 0% chance this offer will last. So contact Milton Cap before there's 0 time left.
David McCann from Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents.
Back here at the Gov at the bottom of the 5th inning. We talked a little bit about Peanut Garza. Had a little technical difficulties. Now we'll give Ryan Martin another shot. Ryan?
Thanks so much, Ben. Yeah, glad to be back here in the booth now, where you see the family of Alejandro Garza came all the way from Bakersfield, California, Ben, to see Alejandro play on Cape Cod for the first time. They had a double layover flight from Bakersfield to Boston. They actually didn't make it for that game yesterday when Chatham won at Orleans, so they didn't get to check out Eldridge Park yesterday, but debuting those cool graphic shirts just for Alejandro that you see right there. 7 members of his family, including Mom Clara, who was part of that whole charge, that they'll see Eldridge Park and Orleans tomorrow before they fly back to California in Orleans' game against YT.
Have they got any extra shirts?
That'd be cool.
That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool T-shirt. I like it a lot. Thank you so much, Ryan. First pitch swinging, Justin Osterhaus deep to center. Javar Williams looking up. It's over his head. Osterhaus cruising into second base. One pitch, a leadoff single for Justin Osterhaus. Double, rather, not single. He got all of that pitch. Throw 1 for 3 day yesterday, back-to-back days with the base hit. Now one in scoring position, just the second time for the Commodores, this time with nobody out.
And Osterhaus was just kind of sick of seeing that goose egg on the hits category and just says, I'll do it myself, guys.
No hit bid is over for JT Rabb as he's an out away from making this his longest appearance of the summer. Osterhaus has pretty good speed at second base as well. Now Harrison, who's got 11 RBIs on the year. Take a look over at second. And one of the things about Bear Harrison, too, and some of those RBIs, a lot of them came against this Orleans team. 2 home runs, his only 2 home runs of the season. First time these two teams played, just the 4th game of the year. And a medium depth fly ball. Javar Williams now tailing a little bit deep, but he will make the play. Osterhaus tagging to third base, and it'll get there. First run of the game is just 90 feet away in a sacrifice situation for Ryan Zuckerman. So a productive out there for Bear Harrison.
Maybe we were going to expect a little bit more production out of him after having that game early on in the season. And he's only had 6 RBIs since that game. And we're still looking to see that power really come out of him.
Speaking of RBI, Zuckerman has 3 as the Orleans infield will come in to try to cut down the first run. All 4 infield spots. His first pitch swinging right through the middle. Zuckerman says thank you very much. Commodores lead 1-0 on the RBI single for Ryan Zuckerman.
Just felt like one of those things, Ben, where once you get that first one out of the way to finally get the monkey off the bat and the hit-wise, things will start to flow along a little bit more, and the breaking ball left over the heart of the plate by Rabb, and Zuckerman just wasting no time, getting the pitch he wanted and roping it right back up the middle.
There's been, in some ways, some left to be desired in some of the newer additions for Falmouth. But I think Ryan Zuckerman, you cannot be upset with what he has provided this Falmouth team. First pitch to Ashton Wilson. He's grounding one right at third base. Garza throws to second, on to first, way high. Hits off the netting of the Falmouth dugout. A turn from Wilson, but he will immediately get back to second base. It's going to be an error on the throw. Potestio as Wilson takes first base. It was played about as perfectly as it can by Garza, and Potestio just sailed the throw. And it looks like that's going to be it for JT Rabb. Kelly Nicholson takes the ball. Falmouth Commodores start to get to Rabb in the 5th inning. An RBI single after the double from Osterhaus. 1-0. New pitcher coming up at the bottom of the 5th here on Cape League TV.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
I'm Adrian Lopez. I'm an infielder from the University of Southern California, and you're watching Commodore Baseball on Cape League TV.
Kyle Johnson makes a move to the bullpen, or excuse me, the Orleans Firebirds make a move to the bullpen. Kyle Johnson makes a move to the pitcher's mound. Will take over for JT Rabb, who had a pretty good start in the first 4 innings and then ran into some trouble here in the 5th. Johnson started this summer with just 1 appearance so far. It was a start, and it was not a very good one. The ADP, that's one of the highest ERAs I think I've ever seen. He's only thrown a third of an inning so far this year. He's given up 6 earned runs through 34 pitches, walked 3 batters in that appearance as well.
Yeah, that'll blow up that ERA to 162.
It's a lot of runs.
That's a lot.
So that does it for JT Rabb. And a big spot coming up for Antonio Morales, who's newly moved back to the 9-hole. No hits for the Commodores through the first 4. Justin Osterhaus gets the party started, though, with a double to lead off the inning, and then Ryan Zuckerman gets him through after a flyout got him over to third base. Fielder's choice at second removed Zuckerman, and Wilson takes over at first. This is Johnson's second season here on the Cape. He spent the first year at Chatham.
From Maryland, number 2, Antonio Morales. Number 2.
Two-way player for Duke this past season. 45 games played in the field, 28 of those being starts, just a .220 batting average. 6 RBIs in the game against Cornell. Back in 2024, he had 12 starts on the mound, too. So offers a first pitch strike to Antonio Morales, who's 0 for 1 today with a fly out to center. Wilson's got decent speed at first base. Morales cold strike on the outer corner again, down at an 0-2 hole.
How about this connection between him, the Firebirds, and Marcus Stroman? He became the first two-way player since Stroman for Duke to earn freshman All-American as a utility player. Stroman played for the Firebirds and has designed the uniform that the Orleans team's wearing right now.
Runner takes off for second base, might have eliminated a double play. This is a tough throw over from Iquez, but he made it. Elijah Iquez, of course, eliminating a double play. There were 2 outs in the inning. Morales cut down after a beautiful throw, but the Commodores get one on an RBI single from Ryan Zuckerman as we head to the 6th inning. Commodores in the lead on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Here at the Mass State Lottery, we're known for our monster wins. But there's no bigger win than the $1 billion we provide each year to support all 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. In our game, we know that supporting local businesses and helping communities is how we all win. Because at the lottery, we're all playing for the home team. The Mass State Lottery. Welcome to the state of winning.
On behalf of the Cape Cod Baseball League, we would like to thank the following league partners for their continued support: 99 Restaurants, Badger Sports, The Baldwin Group, Bluebird Dennisport, Bridgewater State University, Cape Destinations. And of course, thank you to Major League Baseball for over 50 years of support.
I'm Antonio Morales from Norfolk, Massachusetts, and I'd love to get a shout out to my mom, my dad, my sister, and all my supporters.
You can enjoy all the action of the Cape Cod Baseball League by downloading the Cape League TV app on your mobile device and favorite TV streaming platform. You can now watch the Doors on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android TVs. Cape League TV provides live and on-demand coverage of all games and featured content from the nation's best summer collegiate baseball league. Get in the game with Cape League TV. How did we just get a camera back in the control room in the back of the press box? I didn't know our booth cam moved like that. You see our director, Kyle Klima, who's doing a great job with the rest of our crew today.
It's very cool. Can move in many different directions.
I underestimate technology nowadays. Now first base swinging down the first base line, and a beautiful swing on it. Alejandro Garza makes a turn towards second base. A beautiful throw from Antonio Morales. Oh, man. Garza saw Justin Osterhouse's leadoff double, wanted to do the same thing. But Antonio Morales says, no, sir. I mean, you look at this. How is this ball? I mean, it's died on the grass, not a double. Antonio Morales says, how? Right on the money. So Everett Garber gets a bit of a break here in the top of the sixth inning. One out and nobody on base for the three-hitter, Elijah Iquez. And I remember a spectacular Superman diving catch that Morales made on the 4th of July. He told us, yeah, this is my first time really playing right field. I don't know. I just dove at a ball. And he's going to tell us, oh, yeah, I haven't played much right field. I just threw the ball to second base. That's just the raw talent of Morales. That is Garza's first base hit, but of course limited to trying to stretch it into a double. He case 1 for 2 today. He singled his last time up. 1-0-2 count to start off on the Hawaii shortstop. Back-to-back days with the base hit for him. And a time. And a pitch clock violation on Garber. Didn't come set in time. That's ball one of the count. In case of 308 batting average coming into this game. It's after 303 batting average this past season. Very rarely again. Mike Anu's one of them. You talked about it. You see guys hit better with a wooden bat than aluminum bat. And then just an 821 OPS this past season to this summer's 936. Well, started about half games last year at Hawaii. Change up low and outside for ball 3. Just about 25 games due to injury to start this past spring off. His first game back, though, had a couple of base hits. Because of those missed games, let's just name the All Big West honorable mention team. That was the payoff down the third base line.
Definitely, if he wasn't absent in those games, he could be in contention for first team. But I think towards just the end of the season, you know, the conference voters and the coaches just see a little bit more dip in those games plays, and you can't really play the what-if game.
Well, he got himself on the Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star team, that's for sure, in the East
think
Division.
that might be a little bit better as well.
Another payoff pitch from Garber. This one called high, a stumble in left from Ashton Wilson, but he recovers in time for the out after he had a drop ball in front of the warning track on an easy fly ball yesterday. Nice recovery. Making out number 2. 1-0 Commodores on the RBI single from Ryan Zuckerman in the bottom of the 5th. Firebirds playing down for the first time. See if they can come out with Robbie Levy. Coming to the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. Righty on lefty matchup. First pitch tipping one into the mitt of Bear Harrison. An 0 for 2 days so far for Levy. With the ground out and a strikeout. This is a game where we just, you know, it's a pitcher's duel for sure. We just haven't seen many strikeouts in general. Commodores pitching just has 2. Orleans pitching just has 3 so far today. 0-1 bounces up, gets all the way to the net.
Well, everything's been head out to center field instead of the strikeout.
Well, Looks like there's not going to be any relief anytime soon for Garber with nothing going on in the bullpen. If you need another quarterback, then maybe you can look to the bullpen. A couple guys tossing a football. That's about all that's going on, both of them in their warm-up sweatshirts as well. 1-1, similar spot. Harrison keeps it in front, but it's still ball 2. Levy does have 1 home run for the Firebirds today. We talked about them playing in a smaller park. They're not a team that hits a ton. EK's has 3 as their 3-hitter. That's the most you're going to find in this Firebird lineup. Only players with multiple. Dawson Bryce has a couple. Potestio just 1. Garza just 1 at the top of the lineup, and Levy just 1. But what matters right now is, as of late, the offense has been really hot. So they got a perfect 12 and 12 on the year. Change-ups low, another full count and payoff pitching coming.
They've also been one of the most impressive teams on the road as well, Ben. They've won 8 of their 13 games away from Eldridge.
Wow.
That is the best record by any road team.
Yep. Another payoff pitch, this time lined into center for a base hit. Good piece of contact for Robbie Levy. It's the second base hit of the inning for Orleans. But the first one that'll actually reach base.
Number 7, Justin Bryce. Number 7.
Dawson Bryce has an opportunity with a runner on first base in the game-tying run at first. Charlotte 49er. He'll take the first pitch just a bit high for ball 1. So for 2 today. Giving both balls a pretty good ride, a fly out to center and a fly out to right. Late throw over from Everett, but Levy wasn't too far off the bag. Garber so far 2 2/3 innings pitched. We talked about just the 1 strikeout. Hasn't given up an earned run yet. Just a couple of base hits. And now a 2-0 count on Bryce as he offered low. Fastball hit on the ground. Picked up in the easy flip over from Lopez to Osterhaus. Couple of base hits, a beautiful defensive play by Antonio Morales, and a couple of ground balls gets Garber out of the 6th. Halfway through the 6th, it's 1-0 Commodores, heading to the bottom on the Cape League TV.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, President of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Hi, I'm Zach Johnston from Cumberland, Maine. I'd like to give a special shout out to my host parents, Paula and John, for being great people.
The bottom of the 6th inning, and it'll be the first full inning of work for Kyle Johnson. He'll try to make it that at least. The southpaw for Orleans, and the first lefty Commodores will face. And for Johnson in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be the top of the lineup. Antonio Morales grounded out on a beautiful play made by Ike at shortstop. So Carl Schmidt will flip the lineup card over and try to improve that 0 for 2 day with a pop-up and a fly-out. Nothing going offensively for the Commodores in the first 4 innings. Justin Osterhaus led off the 5th with a double. Was brought in an RBI single from Ryan Zuckerman. That ball just fouled down the third base line, and immediately Jared Saltalamacchia storming up to third base umpire Joe Gravina in disagreement. Well, it's a shorter walk than normal to argue with umpires for Jared Saltalamacchia when Falmouth's on the field at his first game as the third base coach as well. Take a look at this one again. Oh,
that is close.
That's one of the tough judgment calls for Gravina over at third base. But does not give Falmouth the benefit of the doubt. So Schmidt back into the right-handed batter's box. Long, loud strike. He's got an 0-1 count and a changeup way high. 4-2 to him. Johnson, the two-way guy, is such a great season at both offensively and defensively. Schmidt, a nice hop to Ekes, and Ekes almost ate him up, but he makes another nice play. Back-to-back outs recorded for him. This time the first out of the bottom of the 6th. And Schmidt made about one of the longest runs through first base I think I've ever seen. He's in the Falmouth bullpen right now. But Johnson's ERA definitely raised a little bit from a freshman to sophomore season. 7.19 this past year. The batting average dipping a little bit too. First pitch low to Adrian Lopez, and of course will play in Charlottesville this upcoming season to follow his coach, Corey Mascaro. Lopez fouls the 1-0 off, even the count. He was named to the Golden Spikes watch list at the beginning of the year before his sophomore season. After, of course, being named to the All-American first team in his freshman year. He had a great freshman season just because of the versatility of being able to play two ways. And a little bit of a disappointing season this past year at Duke.
And the last time I checked, with Chris Pollard making that move from Duke to UVA, it's upwards of a dozen players have followed him to Durham.
2-1. Adrian Lopez punched foul down the first base line. Even things up at 2-2. Lopez 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out to third base. Fouls another one off. He's got the 2-2 now. USC Trojan. Been pretty steady before, taking a couple of games off. He was another guy who went home for the MLB draft. A little further trip for him, going all the way to California. Turns on one early. Nice play on the third base line by a young fan.
He's got a Canadian shirt on, though. I don't like that.
Big Bruins fan. Not being far from Boston. You see a lot of those in this area.
What, Canadians fans?
No, Bruins fans.
Yeah. We are on Cape Cod.
Yeah, I guess that is the closest team to us.
Maybe the Hartford Whalers a couple of years ago, but they don't exist anymore.
And we'll try a payoff to Adrian Lopez. It's a fastball high and outside for ball 4. First time Adrian Lopez has reached today. The Falmouth team has not walked a ton. It's just the second walk issued by Orleans pitching. First was Kent Schmidt. Now stands on deck with Mike Adu coming to the plate. Still trying to settle back in. Strikeout and a fly out to center his first 2 times up. Lopez runs decently well at first base. So a couple stolen bases on the year. First pitch, Tanu, is skied foul behind home plate. It'll be not only the starting center fielder for the West Division on the All-Star game coming up Saturday at Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, but he'll also take part in the Home Run Derby. 0-1 slider runs off the plate. I think that's going to be a lot of firepower in that Home Run Derby. We saw Carson Tinney yesterday hit one to the beach in Brewster. Lefty, quick throw over Adrian Lopez, just a couple of steps off first base.
And that lineup is pretty loaded as well with Daniel Jackson from Chatham. Yep. He's also in that mix. Brendan Larson even for Brewster.
Well, Mike Anu wanted to get the home run derby started early with that swing. Swung through it, down 1-2.
And even Kahio Aloy as well for the Bourne Braves.
A lot of firepower.
Absolutely.
A lot of power in general, of course, being the home run derby.
Just no split screens, please.
Swing and a miss. Mike Anu's down on strikes. Now, there will not be, as far as I know, there will not be multiple broadcasts where, like, the lower level broadcast is actually the better to watch, like it is with the MLB home run derby.
That StatCast was a lot of fun to watch. It was a lot more fun than the original one.
I don't think you were alone, my friend.
Yeah.
Kent Schmidt with 2 outs and a runner on first base. Commodores outscoring Orleans with the lead, but Firebirds are out hitting Falmouth 1-0, or 5-2 rather, as Adrian Lopez gets his 4th stolen base of the year. It's one of those physical specimens where he's one of the bigger guys on the team. He's about 6'4", he's got a lot of muscle, but playing shortstop, he's very quick, very fast too. Showcases it, take at second base. It was a good pitch to take it on. As Kent Schmidt punches one foul.
You don't see a lot of shortstop with that large of a stature, if you will, that can move back quickly. And
well, maybe that's the new era with the O'Neill Cruz and the Ellie De La Cruz of the world. I guess O'Neill Cruz no longer playing shortstop for Pittsburgh.
That's right.
1-1 count, just off the plate. Kent Schmidt back ahead in it. Still trying to keep that OPS above 700. Got on base the first time up, so that'll help it a little bit, but strike out the most recent appearance. Now he's got a hitter's 3-1 count. A couple of breaking pitches just off the plate for the junior from Marietta, Georgia. 4 hits in this regional this past season. 3 of them came to that elimination game. He had 2 home runs against Ole Miss. It wasn't enough. Of course, that was an interesting Oxford regional that saw not Ole Miss, not Georgia Tech, not even Western Kentucky, but it was the 4-seed Murray State who advanced. Also advanced all the way to the College World Series. And payoff pitch to Schmidt. Might have been ball 4, but he punches it foul down the third base line, just out of reach of the left fielder Levy, and then behind Garza. So that keeps Kent Schmidt alive with this 3-2 count.
And even a lot of people making the argument as well that Georgia Tech shouldn't even have been a 2-seed.
Yeah. It was the ACC did not get a very generous hand, no matter which way you feel about it. Neither did the Big 12. It feels like the only conferences that did get a generous hand was the SEC. Big 10 got a couple of hosts, but, I mean, that's the Big 10. Oregon and UCLA in their first year. But Georgia Tech won the regular season of the ACC. They were not a 1 seed. That one punched through the middle, in for a base hit. Wave arounds on for Adrian Lopez. He scores with ease. Kent Schmidt adds another to his team's second leading RBI total. He's got 14 on the season. Commodores double their lead, 2-0 Doors in the bottom of the 6th. That's why these Commodores being savvy on the base path really pays off. Lopez getting into scoring position on a swiped bag. Now Justin Osterhaus comes up with a runner on first base.
And a really good at bat from Schmidt as well, where he fouls off 4 consecutive pitches. It's that 7th pitch of the AB, where it's a little bit lower in the zone, but he goes and gets it.
Now 2-0 Commodores, a run of insurance. So Osterhaus goes after the first pitch. He's 1 for 2 today. Was the one that scored the first run after doubling. Getting to third on a fly out from Bear Harrison, an RBI single from Ryan Zuckerman with the infield in, but one that I think was going to be a single no matter what. So already an extra base hit for Osterhaus today. Lefty on lefty matchup. Pitches, swings at the second pitch he sees and pops in a shallow right. At first, it was Potestio going back. Now the right fielder Crossland will grab it for out number 3. Commodores get another one. 2-out production, an RBI single for Ken Schmidt. They double their lead. 2-0 Falmouth as we head to the 7th, the third left in this ball game. Andrew Della Piana has the play-by-play the rest of the way on Cape League.
Introducing Open Cape, the local nonprofit internet service provider in this region. Open Cape's fast and reliable network is 100% fiber optic, providing affordable internet connectivity. To learn more, visit opencape.org and always speak with a live Open Cape representative. Open Cape, providing choice and competition for your home or business and the official internet provider of your Falmouth Commodores.
We are Open Cape.
Hi, my name is Matt Burgess, General Manager here at Falmouth Country Club. We have a unique 27-hole public golf course with a beautiful layout that is family-oriented. Kids play free here at Falmouth Country Club. Getting on the course is quick and easy with our app. You can book tee times, get yardages with GPS, use our interactive scorecard, track your stats, and receive exclusive in-app offers. Falmouth Country Club is a true Cape Cod classic and a local family favorite.
See you on the course.
Hi, I'm Justin Osterhaus from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my parents and my brother, Becky and JD Osterhaus and Brady Osterhaus.
Here in the final third of this ball game, the Commodores in front of the Firebirds 2-0. Let's take a look at how we got to this point in the ball game. And Ben, it's been the 2 new arms for the Commodores that have really done the trick in this one, with Urena setting the tone early, and then Garber has come in at the bullpen and gone 3 scoreless as well.
Yeah, this is a team, a couple of guys making their first appearances for Falmouth, and you hope this is a pretty good sign moving forward, too, with just how well they've pitched, and they can really use the bullpen arms down the stretch, even if they could make one of those guys a starter. Urena just the opener today, but I think they're going to let Garber eat some innings here.
Well, it's Cashel Duggar to lead things off for Orleans in the top of the 7th. And Garber going to step off, ask for a new pitch from Bear Harrison. Duggar 0 for 2 in this one, a fly out to center field in the 6th. And he goes back out that way towards News direction, and he's in there with a couple steps for out number 1.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it with all the flyouts to center. A couple of them I think you can constitute as lineouts. Both of these teams are making really good contact, I feel like, in this game, but just a total of 8 base hits. And the Firebirds actually out hitting Falmouth at this point, 5-3. Despite the 2-run deficit.
It's just been the timeliness of those hits for Falmouth that has carried them over the edge in this one.
And also credit Falmouth pitching for getting out of jams. I mean, that works both ways, too.
Juris goes after the first one, pokes it out to right field. Morales, couple steps back. There's out number 2.
Also, right there has helped Falmouth pitching a lot today, and just a lot of early swings, a lot of short at-bats, first, second pitch swinging for Juris there.
2 up, 2 gone for Javar Williams. Last chance in the 7th for Orleans. We suffered a heartbreaking loss last night in 10 innings against Chatham, where they had a good comeback bid in the bottom of the 8th. But it came up just short. Taking him back to this 500 record of 12-12-2. And Williams is take all the way for a called strike.
Yeah, that's a Chatham team who's starting to play a little bit better baseball, too. Probably wishing they were in the West Division right now. It'd make a little difficult to travel, but
still fine with taking the points in the position in the division. Williams on the ground to the right side. Osterhaus, the easy play. Another 1-2-3 for Everett Garber. And the Commodores pitching continues to roll along, as so are we in this ball game. As we are through 6.5, we'll stay put here for America the Beautiful here at Gov Fuller Field. We'll be right back after this.
Fans, now to sing America the Beautiful, written by Falmouth's own U.S. poet and author, Catherine Lee Bates. We welcome back Ava Smith. Ava, whenever you're ready.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Ava. Let's hear it one more time for Ava Smith. That was truly beautiful.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just one click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
Hi, I'm Michael Kasparian, president of the Falmouth Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber is here for the benefit of the whole community. Whether you're a local business or a visitor, Falmouth has endless offerings, from its beautiful beaches and historical sites to its local shopping and eateries. The Chamber bridges the 8 villages, providing visitors with all the tools to make their trip one to remember. Our visitor center is located in downtown Falmouth, just off of Main Street. Come by and meet our team. The Falmouth Chamber of Commerce, your community connection.
Home half of the 7th inning here from Gov Fuller Field, where it's a 2-0 Commodores lead. It's a Falmouth Commodores team that will be busy this Saturday when it's a 2025 Cape League All-Star game from Red Wilson Field, and there's 8 Commodores. That's the most on Cape Cod that will be playing in that game. One of those stories that's really interesting to see. How about Norfolk, Massachusetts native Antonio Morales? His mom broke the news to everyone before Salty could tell any coach that it was Morales who was an all-star. Morales' mom actually texted him first, and then he then told all the other players who would do it. Morales' family from Norfolk will make about the hour-and-a-half drive down to Red Wilson Field in Yarmouth, Dennis for that all-star game, guys. He'll have about 7 or 8 family members in attendance. They'll be cheering on Morales and the other 7 Commodores playing in that game. Guys?
Number 27.
Fun on Saturday, Ryan. I know you will be on hand for that one. I usually get my news from my mom as well, so we're pretty similar in that, me and Micah.
I don't think my mom's is up to date on social media and those sorts of things, so I don't know if my mom would be the first one to.
That's fair. My mother loves Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Loves it. Bottom 7 time from Gov Fuller Field with Bear Harrison to lead things off. Another frame on the job for the lefty Kyle Johnson.
If that news came on Amazon Shopping, then maybe my mom would be the first to tell me.
Loads up her cart a whole lot? Yeah.
Yes.
Surprise you with anything this summer from that cart?
No, nothing here. Just to the house in Old Mason, Ohio.
Yeah. Harrison pops this up into foul territory. Long run at first for Bryce. Comes back into fair, and it drops. Gets away from Johnson. Harrison taking off for second. He's in there after a little bit of a miscue there from the Firebirds. Just pure miscommunication there from the Firebirds as it took just a weird angle back into fair territory.
I think that might have hit the glove of Johnson, too.
All the Orleans infield can do is shake their heads with Harrison standing at second.
But, I mean, yeah, there's not much you could really rule that other than a hit. I think so. Because even if it maybe touched Williams' glove, I mean, I don't.
Going to go as a base hit for the moment. 2 balls, no strikes to Ryan Zuckerman. Looking to extend this lead for the Commodores. Already in front 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th. Going to give Harrison a single on that. Deflected by Johnson, the pitcher.
Don't see that every day.
No.
And in this low scoring of a game, that's really something you just can't afford if you're the Firebirds.
Especially with how kind of poor the Orleans offense has been in this one. Really struggling to get out of the rut. As that won't help either. A 4-pitch walk to Zuckerman.
That's a pretty good approach at the plate from Zuckerman. Obviously didn't have to do much of the 4 pitches. And after, the pitcher makes, what do you want to call it, a defensive mistake, something at least that he's involved in, to just keep the bat on your shoulder. Smart play.
Here is Ashton Wilson. The middle infield protecting the double play for Orleans. Wilson drops down a bunt, third base side. Garza picks it up. Going to go to first. And the sacrifice does the trick for Wilson to put 2 runners in scoring position.
We haven't seen this Commodore team bunt a whole lot this year, but they're showing the ability to do so. Ashton Wilson put a pretty good one down. I like the small ball in a low-scoring game like this. Now a sacrifice situation with one of your best contact hitters at the plate.
Infield comes in for Kelly Nicholson's bunch. With Antonio Morales looking to add to the lead. To the right side, an easy play for Testio for out number 2.
Well, that's where bringing the infield in pays off. Maybe might have played a factor in the first one the Commodores scored when Zuckerman hit one up the middle, but right there you save a run.
And now Kelly Nicholson out from his third base dugout. Now with a quick word with Kyle Johnson, will this be the end for the southpaw? With the righty Schmidt looming on deck. This might just be a settle-in thing from Kelly Nicholson, who started out as a pitching coach with the Firebirds. And this being his 24th summer on Cape Cod. He has been here a long time.
A couple guys up in the Orleans bullpen, too.
No really throwing, just a little bit of stretching. Did see the baseballs in their hands, but he's going to ride Johnson out with 2 outs. Runners at second and third for Carl Schmidt.
Interesting timing, too, after he really got what he needed in a tough situation with a runner on second, third, and 1 out. Got the ground out he needed.
1 ball, 1 strike as Johnson rather working quickly. Schmidt, an 0 for 3 effort. 27 hits this summer, that's top 5. And the southpaw keeping Schmidt on his toes a little bit. He is ready to go, Ben.
Yeah, he is. I mean, we have seen that from a lot of different pitchers. It feels like, we've had a lot of pitchers who've worked fast throughout college baseball, but ever since the pitch clock, it's like, I think pitchers are starting to realize, like,
you can use it as an advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
He is only about 2-3 seconds into the pitch clock before he goes, and it's a 3-2 count. Harrison at third, Zuckerman at second, 2 gone, bottom 7. Falmouth 2, Orleans nothing. Pitch is just outside for ball 4. I think that went from a 1-2 count to a walk in about 45 seconds.
If that. I mean, I think Johnson's got a date after this game or something like that.
He is speeding things up. Either way, bases loaded for Adrian Lopez, with a chance to really break this game open.
They're going to ride with Johnson, too.
Looking for his first RBI since Friday in the victory over Katuitt. Just 6 on this campaign.
Yeah, he's hitting a lot of different spots in the lineup, too. Mostly has been the 3-hole, though. Obviously, oftentimes occupied by your best hitter.
Scored the second run of the ball game for the Commodores to make this a 2-0 lead. When you think about the struggles, Ben, the Commodores have had in the back end of games, that ERA in the 7th or later is just above 7. You'd like a little bit more insurance here.
Yeah.
One to Adrian Lopez, who skies it foul first base side.
Well, I'm interested to see what the play is if it is Everett Garber going back to the mound at the bottom or the top of the 8th.
There is a lefty warming up in the Falmouth bullpen. Garber has been phenomenal in his first game on Cape Cod. 1-2. He's blocked in the dirt, nicely kept in front by Jarvis. No advancement from Harrison.
Yeah, that's a really big league block by Jarvis, and one that obviously had a lot of implications too.
Lopez had a 4-game hit streak snapped last night in an 0-for-4 effort against Brewster. Deuce is wild. On the ground of the third base side, couple of hops. Garza steps on third, and that will do it in the bottom of the 7th. Commodores threaten to add on to the lead, but leave the bases loaded. We go to the top of the 8th. Falmouth still clinging to a 2-run lead against the Firebirds here on Cape League TV.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic Clam Shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly options. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, a proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Another great day of Commodores in the community at the Cape Cod 5 Bank. A couple of players on hand signing some autographs as one of the bigger sponsors here on Cape Cod. Jacob Schultz signing those autographs. And how about this? Earlier today, he signed some autographs. Later that night, you're on in the 8th in relief.
And not only is he signing autographs earlier today, he's pitched a lot recently too. Got the day off sort of yesterday, but back-to-back games he pitched before yesterday. Did have an off day in between, but he was throwing back at home here against Bourne on Tuesday, and then also threw on Sunday in the road game at Wareham.
Has definitely earned that all-star nod in 8 appearances, a sub-2 ERA. Usually more so a guy, Ben, that comes out for a couple of outs, maybe just 1 inning of work, and then turns it over. But in those innings he's been in, he's been very impressive.
He has, and I think this is a good opportunity to maybe see if you can get him up to a 6-out save, start to work up that pitch count a little bit. But you're going to throw him against, the tougher part of the lineup. You get started with a 9-hitter, but 9-1-2 now in the Orleans lineup.
Michael Crossland to lead things off for the Firebirds, looking for that spark on offense, which is 5 hits so far through 7 innings. It's definitely been a massive tip of the cap as well to Urena and Garber, who were phenomenal in their first games as Commodores.
And they combine to throw 7 innings. The new guys for Falmouth only give up just a few base hits, 5 of them to be exact. Obviously, 7 scoreless.
Commodores entered this ball game with the worst ERA on Cape Cod at a 4.82, and
they didn't really do it with a ton of strikeouts
no.
either. Just a total of 2. Each of them had 1.
Crossland up the middle, a little bit of a weird hop off the mound. No trouble, though, for Osterhaus over at second. He has been very busy tonight.
Boy, that's just a natural second baseman over there at Justin Osterhaus. His natural position is somewhere in the middle, infield. They've tried him in a lot of different positions, but realizing that late hop and still a hop right before he took it after the hop on the mound. And was able to trap it on the ground. A little communication with Adrian Lopez after that play, too.
Those middle infielders, they got to be on the same page. Anthony Potestio digs in for the Firebirds. He is 1 for 3. Leadoff single in the first. And then it went about 2 innings for Orleans without a base hit. One ball, one strike to Potestio, rising junior from UC San Diego. Upping that hit streak to 4 games after that single in the first. Inside, does it get a piece of him? Yes, it did on the elbow. And that is a hit by pitch.
Yeah, it's actually something we've seen a decent amount of from Jacob Schultz, whatever it is. He said he's now had a hit by pitch at each of his 3 appearances, all coming this last week or so. That one just barely got inside. And Potestio didn't need to do much to get out of the way and take the base any way he can get it.
1 on, 1 out for Alejandro Garza. And Schultz, that one got away from him in a hurry. And that is the easiest 90 feet that Anthony Potestio will have in his collegiate career, maybe his entire life.
That's a pretty easy 180, too. A breaking ball that hit him on the elbow where he's got a guard to get to first, and then the wild pitch there. You throw that curveball every once in a while, it's just going to escape you. Just kind of what happened with Schultz here.
Garza with his family in attendance. You heard from Ryan Martin a little bit earlier. As that nickname Peanut, which he got from his mom as soon as he was born. She said, "Oh, he looks like a peanut." And his dad also kind of kept that going a little bit as well, calling him Peanut growing up, and he said it just kind of stick once he got to high school and really came through again in college. Also wasn't someone that got a lot of looks out of high school as well. Cal Poly, one of those only schools to give him a chance at the D1 level out of Bakersfield.
It's funny, we've heard a couple of those stories now, both for Garza at Cal Poly and Levy at George Washington. Those aren't 2 bad baseball schools by any means. So usually when you hear that, it's maybe a local, really low major school. But 2 good baseball programs giving them a chance, and both those guys obviously doing a really good job with it.
Garza was first team All Big West this past spring with the 2nd lowest strikeout rate on Cape Cod right now, and he jolts this one into right center field, drops in for a base hit. Potestio going to get the wave from third. He scores with ease. Garza up to second. Ball got away in the infield. And just like that, the Firebirds have made this a game. They've cut the lead in half. It's 2-1 Commodores.
Yeah, obviously a big RBI single, but also huge. Getting the game-tying run at a scoring position on that throw. Just a missed cutoff. I don't know if Zuckerman or Osterhaus were not on the same page there, but that ball just got away, and that allowed the extra 90 feet for Garza.
And now, Ben, you look to that bottom of the 7th where the Commodores left the bases loaded, and it's kind of an important part of this ball game, where tying run is just 180 feet away.
That's a beautiful curveball.
Schultz has to really lock in here to not allow Garza to score. Got a good lead off a second. We'll check over him in that direction. And one of the most dangerous hitters in the league, and Elijah Iquez. 14 RBIs. Top 10 on Cape Cod. Good take on the outer third. Talked about that travel. A lot of guys that Kelly Nicholson brings in are those West Coast guys. Iquez is a true Hawaii guy, and he spent about $1,500 on a plane fare to even get to Nantucket.
Oh, that's very far.
Pulled on the changeup here.
We downloaded some good movies on that flight.
I mean, that's got to be 10, 11 hours. That sound about right?
I've never driven of course I've never driven to Hawaii. I've never flown to Hawaii.
I don't know if that's possible, Ben.
I don't know. I've never flown to Hawaii, so I'm not sure exactly what that number looks like.
I'll give you a reference point. From here to California is about 7-8 hours. Hawaii's a little bit more extended out, so
more than 7 or 8, you're saying?
Yeah,
at least.
I'd say that's, use your mental math there. One-two to Iquez. Popped up, slicing, gonna get out of play.
And Iquez put together a nice at-bat. Jacob Schultz is definitely someone who's ran into some command issues in the past. Walked 8 batters, but he struck out 13, so still a pretty good ratio. All of that just coming in 9 2/3 innings pitched. So he averages almost a walk per inning.
Hopes it just fouled down the third baseline. They'll do it again.
And the most interesting part of it all for Jacob Schultz, the whip actually is coming down, sitting at 1.45 right now, but that was up to 1.8, 1.9 when he was selected an All-Star, and he was still, obviously, had very good numbers. Very good ERA numbers, and that's why he got selected as an All-Star.
Another All-Star warming up in the bullpen as well in Joe Sabath, preparing for the potential ninth. 1-2 swing and a miss. Just what Schultz was looking for in a big strikeout against one of the league's top hitters for out number 2.
Yeah, that was All-Star on All-Star, and guy you won up in that moment against the pitcher you won on the mound in that moment. And Jacob Schultz just came up successful. Not out of the woods yet, obviously, but that just shows he's ready.
Last chance in the frame for Orleans comes with Robbie Levy. He's 1 for 3 with a strikeout in the fourth. Making his third appearance against Falmouth this summer. A combined 1 for 7 with 3 strikeouts. 17 RBIs, that's 4th on Cape Cod. The tying run at second base. Wave and a miss. Way out in front of the changeup from Schultz, who didn't play his true freshman season due to injury. Got a handful of appearances this past year with the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Commodore to Commodore.
Another breaking ball bouncer in the dirt. Might be one of the only teams on Cape Cod you can make that change to.
Well, you can go the other way around. You can go Whitey Red Sox to Boston Red Sox, or Bourne Braves to Atlanta Braves, or Harwich Mariners to Seattle Mariners. Now you're giving me a challenge. Now I got to find some of these other ones.
I'll let you think about that for a little bit. Now the breaking ball beautifully executed by Schultz. Only registers on the gun at 77 miles per hour. Looked a lot slower than that. 2-2 count with 2 outs. Runner at second. Lefty on lefty. Pitch. Drops out the breaking ball again. Can't get the call this time.
Yeah, that changeup always kind of feels like it deceives your eyes a little bit. It looks slower than the number actually shows.
Payoff pitch. Breaking ball is a called strike 3. Schultz leaves the potential game-tying run at second base. Back-to-back Ks against the heart of the Firebirds order. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Commodores leading 2-1. We'll be right back.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jim Murray, owner of Falmouth's historic clam shack, now Jim's Clam Shack. Located on scenic Falmouth Harbor, Jim's Clam Shack is a destination for the best seafood and sunsets on the Cape. We're open 7 days a week, so stop by for lunch or join us for dinner on the rooftop deck. Bring the entire family to try our wide selection of seafood and kid-friendly option. We deliver the freshest products to your plates daily. Jim's Clam Shack, proud supporter of the Falmouth Commodores.
What's up? I'm Kent Schmidt, first base from Georgia Tech, and you're watching Cape League TV.
Commodores would love a little bit of insurance here in the bottom of the 8th. Currently in front of the Firebirds 2-1. Back alongside Ben Haller, I'm Andrew Del Piana here from Gov Fuller Field on a beautiful night. It was a little muggy earlier in the day. Sun came out a little bit in the middle innings and has turned into a cool night at around 77 degrees.
It has. This is the Cape Cod nights you think about. It's perfect weather. Sun hasn't quite fully gone down yet.
Mike Anu to lead things off for the Commodores against Kyle Johnson. Starts him off with a breaking ball. This being inning number 3 for Johnson. Has allowed 1 earned run and 2 hits. That earned run coming in the 6th. And it's only been 2 pitchers in this ball game for the Firebirds, allowing just 4 hits offensively for Falmouth. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mike Anu in his first game back in just about a week or so. 0 for 3, a pair of strikeouts.
Knocked the rust off a little bit.
Still so impressive, though, to have the numbers that he's having with those 7 home runs, the average. After not playing for 4 games, that's MVP caliber. I don't know what is. New rolls 1 over to the shortstop, Iquez. 1 out.
The second that Mike Anu turns back into the Mike Anu we saw all season long is the second this Commodores team can start looking at what kind of offense they had at the beginning of the year.
And in those 4 games without him, just 10 runs scored, part of this 4-game losing streak for Falmouth, with a chance to get rid of that tonight. Joe Sabat, the ready, the closer, warming up in the bullpen. Here is Kent Schmidt. The big RBI single in the 6th. Give the Commodores a lead. That was just their 3rd hit of the ball game, Ben. The offense hasn't really been on fire tonight, but really just getting the job done when they need to. That's been the biggest difference.
It's so funny because it's not just a Commodores thing. It's just a thing that happens at baseball a whole lot. But you go back to Tuesday against Bourne, we're talking about a team that I think is actually back on against YD on Saturday. 11 base hits and just scored 1 run.
Rolled over to Levy at first, and Johnson covering over for out number 2.
Actually, no, that was Tuesday against Bourne. 11 hits, only 1 run. You hear today only 4 base hits, but they've scored more runs in this game. Sometimes this team hits with runners in scoring position. Sometimes they don't.
And that loss really came down to the miscues on the base pass. It was 3 caught stealing, a pickoff at first, and which was very rare for this Commodores team that leads the league in stolen bases and doesn't get caught stealing a whole lot, but games like that will happen in a season. Justin Osterhaus looking for a little 2-out magic for Falmouth to extend this 2-1 lead. Quickly down 0-2. With Osterhaus's double back in the 5th. He's got hits in his last 4 games. And he belts one deep to right field, sending Crossland back to the wall. Looks up and it is gone! There's the insurance the Commodores are looking for. Justin Osterhaus, his first home run on Cape Cod. That gives Falmouth a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th.
Pretty swing, and that is exactly what we've been expecting from Justin Osterhaus. Taking a little bit of time to get him his first home run of the summer, but we know he has those capabilities. He had 15 of them at Purdue Fort Wayne this season. Just pulls it down the right field line. A beautiful swing, like I said.
Gets the insurance, gets the 2-out magic, and a big 2-run lead now for the Commodores. To maybe give Joe Sabin, the bullpen, a little bit of sigh of relief there with the cushion. So Osterhaus, a pair of extra base hits in this one. As here is Bear Harrison. 1 for 3 with a single. He had 2 home runs in the last meeting with the Firebirds, what feels like forever ago. It was only about 27 days. And he's been held without one since. And he had 5 RBIs in that game. He's only had 6 since as well. But those offensive numbers, they're turning around for him a little bit because he's really the only true catcher in the room right now if you add Eddie Yaman and Harrison a hit by a pitch. He's been banged and bruised up a little bit today.
Well, of course, Byron Woodman, who Ryan Martin talked to at the beginning of this game, deactivated earlier today.
Kelly Nicholson comes out from his third base dugout. He is making a change. A big home run by Justin Osterhaus to give the Commodores a 3-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th. We'll tell you who the new Firebird arm is after this short break right here on Cape League TV.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store located at 147 T-Ticket Highway and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jacob Schultz from Houston, Texas, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my mom.
Commodores leading on a beautiful night here from Guff Fuller Field, 3-1 in the bottom of the 8th. They run Kyle Johnson out of the ball game. Another Cape League debut on hand in this one. It is the rising sophomore from Worcester Polytech, D.C. Brown, gets the baseball for Kelly Nicholson. First season with the Engineers out in Worcester. A sub-7 ERA. In 38 innings pitched, was more of a starter in that role with WPI, and now coming out of the bullpen to make his Cape League debut.
It's a great team name, the Engineers. But
there's a lot of them in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there are. MIT's the
MIT,
Engineers,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
But they have the goat head as the logo. That's what's always kind of confused me.
A lot of really good appearances. He was really good or really bad this past year for D.C. Brown. He had a 8-run, 3-inning start against Johnson and Wales. Around that, Andrew, the 2 starts before, the 2 starts after, just a combined 4 runs given up and a total of 20 innings pitched.
And also those 8 earned runs against MIT.
Yeah.
Talk about these guys that kind of come from D2 schools, more so with Tristan Salinas and his move over playing against his former team tonight. And even some D3 guys, Grant Meir, who is a Johns Hopkins guy, also the D3 level.
Yep.
These guys come in with a little bit more of a chip on their shoulder. First to meet him is Ryan Zuckerman. He's 1 for 2 in this one, an RBI single in the 5th to get the scoring started. Zuckerman getting the start over at first base today as Kent Schmidt, the usual first baseman, he DHs. Inside, this catches Zuckerman.
It's kind of on the rib cage. That is not a fun place to get hit. So you see the frustration from Zuckerman a little bit.
So back-to-back hit by pitches.
That was just a fastball that ran in, and yeah, right on that 5 on that white jersey. I'll toss to the bat after 2.
That continues to move the line with 2 outs for Ashton Wilson. First 2 in this 8th were retired, but Osterhaus, the solo shot to right field, and then back-to-back hit by pitches for Harrison and Zuckerman. Wilson, his last time around, had that beautiful sac bunt in the 7th to move runners into 2nd and 3rd. And Brown can pump that fastball in around 92, 93. Down 0-2.
Yeah, that at the Division III level too is one of the faster fastballs you're going to see. So that's kind of what he used a lot for WPI. But all the better appearances kind of came towards the beginning of the year for him.
0-2 to Wilson. And it's a called strike 3. Sits down the guy from the SEC on 3 pitches. But 1 comes in to score for the Commodores. The first home run on Cape Cod for Justin Osterhaus. And it gives the Commodores a 2-run lead as we go to the 9th with Joe Sabbath coming in to slam the door against the Firebirds. Can he do it? You'll have to find out on the other side after this.
Are you looking for that perfect pregame meal? Supreme Pizza has you covered. Its extensive menu has everything from pies and calzones to salads and subs. And with its online ordering system, delicious food is just 1 click away.
It's an honor to support the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Supreme Pizza is open every day of the week. Order online or stop by their store, located at 147 T-Ticket Highway, and try a slice today.
You'll always be safe at home with the Diana Lucevero Group at Compass Real Estate.
Hi, I'm Jacob Schultz from Houston, Texas, and I'd like to give a special shout out to my mom.
Commodores looking to close things up here at the Gov for win number 12 on this season. They bring on the righty from Rhode Island, Joe Sabbath. He is headed to the All-Star game on Saturday, and for good reasons. Those numbers, I'd say they're pretty good, Ben, coming out of the bullpen. Also with 3 saves on his line as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. You get to this point of the game where it's a Falmouth team that hasn't really been in a ton of games recently in the 4-game losing streak. This is kind of like the major league setup where you would love to have Jacob Schultz as kind of your 8th inning setup guy and Joe Sabbath as the 9th inning closer. It finally lines up this way. And yeah, Sabbath, the numbers speak for itself. He's got that whip, too, just barely above 1. He has been spectacular. And this is a Commodores team that has a 7.02 ERA in the 9th inning or later this season. It's because, large in part, because Sabbath hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities as of late in the ninth inning because they haven't been leading.
Well, he gets his shot here. Try to put away a victory with 3 outs. Dawson Bryce to lead things off for Orleans as the Commodores look for win number 3 in 3 meetings against the Firebirds. They'll have one more a little bit later in this month back at Eldridge. Dawson Bryce 0 for 3 in this one, just 6 hits in the ball game for the Firebirds. And Sabbath has a 4-pitch mix. Fastball about half the time. Slider about 40%. Mixes in a changeup and a curveball once in a while. That fastball can get up to 92 though. Already saw his URI teammate earlier in the game set the tone. Jeremy Urena.
Seen another one of his teammates, Jake Cullen, a couple times recently too.
How about the Rhode Island guys really representing here at Falmouth?
Saw started shortstop a couple of games ago too.
When we met with Jake Cullen for the first time early in the week when he arrived, he said having a guy like Joe Sabbath kind of in your back pocket, a Rhode Island guy with you, makes this transition a little bit easier. And that's the guy Joe Sabbath is. Popped up towards the Falmouth dugout. Long run for Sabbath, just out of his glove.
It's always such a tough play for a pitcher to make. They usually tell you not to try that if you are the pitcher, if it's a tough call, but tell the pitcher to get out of the way. He was the only one that really had a chance at that ball.
He was full speed off the mound too. And no hesitation about letting someone else can go get it.
Well, he had no hesitation at first, and then he took an awkward step when he thought that, I don't know if he thought Bear Harrison was going to get there, but
still have the count 1-2. Swing and a miss. That's exactly what Joe Sabbath does for out number 1. A reminder that this broadcast is a copyrighted production of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Any unauthorized duplication, retransmission, or other use is strictly prohibited. It also feels like that's the case with Joe Sabbath allowing runners on base right now. Those are strictly prohibited. His 16th strikeout of the summer. He starts off Cashville Duggar with a ball inside.
Well, there was somebody at Rhode Island last year who, the strikeouts were pretty high. He threw 41 innings and struck out 43. It's nothing crazy. But ever since he's got to the Cape, looked good. He's done it striking out batters. He's done it getting soft contacts. He's done it many different ways.
And this is kind of his spot where he comes in the ninth with that 1 or 2 run lead. And that's exactly the guy he was for the Rams this past year with 8 saves. That was top 10 on the single season list in Rhode Island history. And 28 appearances out of the bullpen, too. And the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Duggar.
Yeah, for reference, a well-used bullpen arm gets used about once a weekend.
Yeah.
There are 14 weekends in college baseball. He was getting used twice a weekend. That is rare. And he wasn't somebody, obviously, with that pitched a ton of innings in his appearances.
I mean, why wouldn't you? Another strike 3. Duggar back to the dugout. 2 gone.
Rhode Island striking out UCLA there, too. He has not, been shying away from any sort of competition either.
Last chance for the Firebirds. Noah Juris. 0 for 3. He goes after the first one. It's not even that Sabbath throws with so much velocity, Ben. It's the accuracy that makes him so deadly.
Paints corners.
Travis stands back up. 1-2, 1-1 to Juris. There's a slider. He's got him way out in front. 78 miles per hour. The Commodores 1 strike away from ending the losing skid. Can Sabbath make it 1-2-3 with 3 Ks in the 9th? Yes, he can. Joe Sabbath puts his arms in the air, and the Commodores have snapped a 4-game losing skid behind a 3-1 victory over the Orleans Firebirds tonight. And kind of just feels like a get-right game for the Commodores. Pitching was very solid in this one. Offense got the job done, but in a league like this where wins have been hard to come by for Falmouth, you'll take them any way you can.
Is there anything more baseball than a team on a 4-game losing skid taking down a team who's won 4 of their last 5? I mean, that's just what you get here on the summer and with the sport. It's showing that this Commodores team is still alive. Every team's got their ebbs, every team's got their flows, every team's got their ups and their downs. And even in a 4-game losing streak, they're able to bounce back, beat a team that is extremely hot right now in the Firebirds.
Big win for the Commodores. You get win number 12, puts them at 12-14-1, where it snaps that 4-game skid. Orleans falls to 12-13-2. And a lot of great performances to shout out tonight. We'll hear from Ryan Martin in just a little bit, but I really think we have to start with Jeremy Urena, who makes his first start on Cape Cod and really, really does the trick to get things going early for a pitching staff that has not seen a lot of good starts in these last couple of games.
Well, I think that's the toughest thing for Urena is you just see, the Patriot League pitcher of the year last night. Not a very good start for Falmouth. I mean, it's just a league that is unforgiving with how many bats, how many talented bats are in each lineup, and Urena doesn't shy away. And I think he maybe even went longer than they were expecting, went more than one time through the lineup. And then finally, that middle of the lineup, I was extremely impressed with Garber today.
Yeah, Garber in his first game on Cape Cod as well. We talked about those numbers beforehand. A guy that allowed over a 300 batting average as a freshman in the Patriot League comes down to Cape Cod, and he was phenomenal in this game and really gave the back end of that bullpen and maybe some other guys a little bit more rest tonight with the length that he went in this one. And really just a good all-around pitching effort where Sabbath comes in at the end and also does the trick.
It gives them a lot of rest. It also might give some guys some confidence who have struggled as of late to see, okay, they could do this. It's a Firebirds offense. It's not the best in the league, but it's certainly not the worst in the league either. And you get a little bit of a break, too, after tomorrow against the Harbor Hawks. That's a very big game. I mean, that controls how much momentum you have going into the All-Star break. The difference between a 13-14-1 record and kind of that 12-15-1 record. Well, it sounds like just a couple of games, but it really feels like more than that just in terms of momentum and confidence-wise.
Yeah, some big-time performances tonight in this Commodores 3-1 win, and the guys at the front of that was Justin Osterhaus and Joe Sabbath, who are now field side with the third member of our crew, Ryan Martin.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Joined to the 2 players of the game here, and second baseman Justin Osterhaus, relief pitcher getting the save, and Joe Sabbath, big in this Commodores win. Joe, I'll start with you. Before you even get into this game, the first homer of the season for this guy over here, how does it feel to come onto the mound knowing you're going to get the run support from guys like Justin?
Justin's been raking all year, so I just trusted my hitters. We're going to get those runs in, and the homer just secured the game pretty much right there. Bench was hype. Justin, first homer of the year, man, he's a dog, so it's great.
Certainly a dog. Like a fun bench in there, Justin. But after that home run, this guy just strikes at the side. Let's go the opposite. You as a hitter, how is it knowing that you have an all-star reliever coming in to get the save?
I mean, we could have 1-run lead and it doesn't matter. Like, we know this guy's going to come out here and fill it up. And hitters struggle against him. We've seen it all year. He's done his job, and it's super fun to play defense behind that.
Yeah, it looked like a fun team overall. I'll go 2 in a row to you, Justin. This team lost 4 straight games before this win. What was the message going into this game and importance in getting a win here before the All-Star break?
We know it's baseball, with the ebbs and flows and everything that goes into it. So we just know if we just kept grinding these days away, that things would start going our way. And we scraped one out here, but I think things are going our way. So we're ready to have some fun now.
Got one more opportunity to grind at hiatus tomorrow before the All-Star break. You'll be pitching at that game. How exciting is it to get this one striking up the side before you play there at Red Wilson Field?
It's kind of just like a confidence boost. I'm supposed to be here, been doing it all year. I'm just going to have fun when I go out there and take it all in.
You saw Jeremy Urena, a former Rhode Island guy with you.
Yeah.
He pitched 3 scoreless innings to start. Was it to see him like in a Commodores uniform, one of your old teammates?
Yeah, it's great to have 3 other teammates here, Jake Cullen, Jeremy, Reese. So it's making it feel like even more like home, and it's having a great time with them.
It's University of Rhode Island South here in Falmouth. The big Commodores win. Andrew, back to you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. Just a couple of guys getting the job done. Part of this 3-1 win. Osterhaus with that solo shot in the 8th to make it a 2-run ball game. Then Sabbath comes in, goes 1-2-3 like it's nobody's problem. And Commodores, you really just needed a game like this to get back on track before you get to Hyannis tomorrow for the All-Star game.
University of Rhode Island South. I really like that, Ryan. I think it is important. I think it's, obviously the elephant in the room, avoiding the 5-game losing streak, which would be one of the longest of any team in the league this season, but also the confidence boost to do it against a good team in Orleans.
Commodores hit the road tomorrow. They will take on the Harbor Hawks of Hyannis. That game starts at 6 o'clock. We will be on the air at 5:50 for opening the door. But for our entire crew here at Gov Fuller Field, our director, Kyle Klima, our producer, Dan Papillo, third member of our crew you just heard from, Ryan Martin and Ben Haller. I'm Andrew Delpiana saying so long and good night, Falmouth.